Heal adventurers! And welcome back to the 14th episode of Dirty 20. The 3 and a bit hours of laughter, drama and adventures we call the D&D Podcast. I am your Dungeon Master for the afternoon today. We're recording a little bit earlier than we normally do.
We're so tired.
Leafy has only just woken up. This is normally like...
This
is 3 hours earlier than his normal wake-up time. On
I mean, on the bright side, the hangovers are going to be like, it's going to be like you're in the character.
I'm actually hungover.
Same method.
That insinuates that you've been drinking the night before.
I did drink a bit last night.
Oh, did you?
When coming home from work, we were allowed we had a crate of beer, and I just took 5.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Wow, bloody hell, fair
Nice.
Good man.
Anyway, I am once again joined by all of my colourful cast of characters. Does anyone have anything to add? I'm not sure. Any sponsors that we have to...
Sponsor.
Just our usual crack crisp crunch chips.
Yeah, crack crisps.
For keeping us going during every session.
Can you hear that crunch, audience? Can you hear it?
Oh my
Okay, well, I guess without further ado, let's delve into today's episode of Day 20!
It's just so filthy.
Previously on Dirty 20, having followed the clues of your investigation into the Rosen sisters, you found yourselves at the Smoky Sausage, staring into a cold dark room with hanging animal corpses. There, chained to a chair and seemingly unconscious, was your companion, Rusty. Next to him, setting stars. With caution, you proceeded to rescue him, pulling him to safety. Meanwhile, Arya awoke Setting Stars, whom with a roar of rage broke through the chains. As he began to take in his surroundings, there was a shift of shadow as a fist struck him across the jaw. 4 Rosen sisters stepped out of the shadow. One whom appeared to be the leader smirked. The fight was on. Fists flew wild, magic blasted, and swords cut deep. Learning from your previous encounter, you were wise to the tricks of the sisters. One by one, you cut them down. Watching her sisters drop like flies, the leader made an attempt for escape, but you wouldn't let that happen. Grappling her, she could do little to prevent being knocked unconscious. You made the quick decision to interrogate her, though you expected little willingness. Chaining her up, you brought her back to consciousness. You broke her back. Foreshadowing. Seeing her predicament, she made another attempt to break free, and against all odds, broke free of the chains. Without hesitation, Alistair put her down, blasting her with necrotic force. Although you had learned little more, you at least had nullified the threat. Turning your attention to Rusty, Thrisk made an attempt to heal him. Nothing happened. It seemed that Rusty's injuries were beyond magical means of healing. Worried for your friend, you considered finding a healer. Alistair mentioned St. Owen's Church in the middle of the city. Together, you agreed to take him there. Arriving at the grand building, more like a cathedral, you encountered Brother Reynold, the head priest at the church. Explaining your situation, he took you down to the healing room and helped you place Rusty in one of the stone beds. He assured you he would do whatever he could to aid in his recovery. As the rest of the party made their way out, Kensei stayed. He took out the rat he had found in the alley and presented it to Reynold. He explained that he'd seen many of these rats dying of strange tumours in piles. He also mentioned that increases in disease followed the areas where lots of them kept dying. He left and met up with the rest of you. After a quick stop at the Dove House, you made your way to King Mayfly's palace, meeting up with him once again. He expressed his happiness to see you. He explained that he and his echelon had been discussing plans and come up with 3 separate jobs, furthering the dismantling of the underdogs. He expressed that time was of the essence. The jobs were framing a noble, working with the underdogs, taking over the underdog black market by convincing 3 fencers to join Mayfly, or finding and killing Camilla. After some discussion, you decided to take on the job of framing the noble and killing Camilla. Pleased with your decision, he asked if you had considered his other offer to join the guild officially. You took some time to talk, and with a hesitation from Kensei, you agreed to join. He asked you what you wanted to call yourselves, and you decided on Fera Carta. Mayfly was overjoyed, and you toasted together to Fera Carta. Taking your leave, you went down to the bar to form a plan. Quickly, though, the discussion turned personal, and you found yourselves opening up. As the drinks kept flowing, so did the conversation. By the late evening, multiple of you were hammered, dancing and singing. Kensei successfully guided you back to the Early Hound.
Somehow.
Where you fell into a drunken but deep sleep. I need everyone but Rusty to leave the table.
Oh! We're starting
Straight
off
away.
with that.
You get all
Right.
Full
Sleep straight into your eyes.
Alright.
Your eyes flicker open, suddenly regaining consciousness. Where are you? What's happening? Around you is darkness, but you can see something swaying in the shadow. What is it? There's a sudden shooting pain through your skull as your head begins to whirl. You've taken quite the beating. Glancing up, your eyes are more adjusted now. The swaying figure is the corpse of a pig, gore dripping down from its open, gouged maw. It's sickening. A shift in the shadow. Something quick. Instinctively, your muscles jerk to action, but the chains around you bolt you to the chair. Immobile. It all comes flooding back. The hobgoblin, the interrogation, the beatings. Your heart is racing. Adrenaline filling your system. Your body screams out to fight, but you're restrained to prevent it. That movement again. It must be her, the one from before. And then you see them. 2 yellow eyes in the darkness, blinking, watching. She steps forward. Into your vision, her smirk is unsettling, those eyes drilling through your skull.
So, awake again. Good. I still have unanswered questions.
She steps forward.
It is clear you will not betray your group, despite our methods. An admirable trait. So allow me to ask some different questions, eh? What do you know about the Hound? What have you uncovered?
She's just glaring at you.
What do you know about the Hound?
I'm the one asking the questions.
I know he's a bigger threat than you are.
little. What are Mayfly's plans? What does he intend to do?
Ask him yourself.
I'm not asking him, I'm asking you.
And why should I answer?
Because one way or another, we're going to get the information out of you. At least this way you do it with your dignity intact.
I've been in worse chains.
Her smirk fades into this look of detestment and anger.
Very well. If it seems you will continue to resist, we have means of getting the information.
She nods. Suddenly there's a piercing feeling in your shoulder. You twist your head to see a sister grappling a needle deep into your shoulder. The contents empty. Your head swirls more than before. Your brain begins to feel distant. Make a wisdom saving throw. With disadvantage because you are exhausted.
Is that cocked?
I think that's fine.
10.
10. Okay. Sensation sweeps through your body like a wave, bleeding into every muscle and organ. Everything seems to relax. Your mind grows foggy as you feel yourself compelled to speak only the truth.
Good. Good. Now let's try this again, shall we? What do you know about the Hound?
I know he's a problem for the people we work for. I know he's an issue that needs to be dealt with. And that's all I know.
What have you uncovered about him?
That he's running things underground. That he's in charge of the illegal side of the city. At least as far as I can gather.
And what is Mayfly's plan to deal with him?
It seems like he wants him out of the picture, and for all of this to stop, so that he's back in charge.
Anything specific? Does he intend to hit a target?
Do I know?
So, you know that he wants to dismantle them. Fortunately, you don't know any real specifics because you've not been around. However, you would have been there the very first time after you completed the first mission, when he said that his aim was to try and find the location of the Hound, but they wanted to dismantle the underdogs piece by piece before they found and executed the Hound.
Okay. Do I know any names though?
You know Camilla.
I do know Camilla.
You know of Camilla because you were there when Alistair had that situation with her. You know that she's a high-profile person in their guild. You know that the Hound is probably a human, and that he disappears for a few months, at different certain periods. Each month he disappears.
Okay.
Camilla. I believe our next target was Camilla.
Good. Anything else?
I'm sure I'll know more when the Hound is back in town.
See? That is not so hard, is it? You understand, though, we cannot let you go. You are a bait. We have business with your little group, and someone wants you returned in good condition.
That smirk returns. She glances to someone behind you, the two sisters. They grasp you harder, twisting your neck back, one pulling out a vial of yellow liquid, and forcefully they pour it down your throat. The pain is intense, and your body begins to burn inside. Immediately the effects kick in. You feel your heart racing. But then, slowing to a halt. The last thing you remember before you black out is the horrendous laughter erupting from her mouth, and the gripping feeling that this is it. You ride the darkness for some time, like floating through the sea, gently moved by the currents. Through the void you drift. At first you don't notice it, but gradually it's getting colder and colder, like icy water. Deep beneath you, you spy a glistening light shimmering in the water. Suddenly, the current gushes and you crash through the light into an icy cave. Almost every surface is covered in thick ice. A low, deep sound echoes ahead, past the curve of the cave, followed by the breeze of cool air. Against your better judgment, you are drawn to it. As you step forward, your wound stings, not your beatings, the bite. Its purple bruising pulsating and growing up your neck, down your arm. Still, you move on. Winding onwards, you pass through the throat into a large open space. The ceiling high, treasures galore frozen deep in the ice. A scuttle behind you. You turn quickly, your eyes gazing upon a tiny dragonborn in rags. A young boy. He looks up at you in desperation. Something is familiar about him. Something is familiar about this place. His eyes dart to the left of your head, his face melting into fear. Freezing air tickles your neck. Deep breathing from behind. Slowly, you twist your body. Glaring down on you are the familiar blue eyes, glistening white scales, and razor-sharp teeth of a white dragon. The white dragon. A blinding burst of light. The dragon recoils. Another. Another. For a split second, the dragon, it seems to merge into this humongous spider with hundreds of legs. Again, again, again. Your eyes shoot open, and you jolt up, gasping for air. You look around, and you're sat on a stone bed in a warm, dimly lit room. A man stands over you in white robes with yellow trimming. Thanks the gods. I thought we were going to lose you for a moment there. Please, drink. Recuperate. And that's why we're going to bring them back in. The morning sun stings your eyes, rousing you from your slumber. Each of you begin to wake up to the smell of distant cooked food and warm wood. Some of you nursing headaches, your mouths dry. As you gather your senses, what would you like to do?
Stay in bed for 3 hours.
Fetch me a pail of water. My scales are dry.
You could have had mine last night. You got dumped on me. I will try to sit up. Oh, that was too quick.
Oh no.
How many rooms did we have? We were in the same room. I forgot.
I'm in my room
I
with.
believe you had 3 rooms.
I'm in a room with.
I'm in a room
Guy.
of my own.
You're in a room with.
Rust, I suppose
Meant to
with
be
Rusty.
Rusty. And
Well,
you
it
was
was yeah.
I
was
was
you
in
and
the
Daira?
day round.
Daira.
But you two are
Right,
in the
just
same
talking
bed.
to
we're,
myself.
we're together. I'm just spooning.
Okay.
You're making me dry.
That's not what I was hoping
You're making me dry. That's a good way to say it. I'm not
I don't say anything. I just
This
roll
turns
over.
me off.
Turns me on.
Gosh, you're making me dry.
I'm going to stick to the herbs next time.
Wait, why do I have a nightcap?
I'm going to try. I'm going to try and sit up.
I'll get up.
You sit up successfully.
I try and get up.
Alright. That is a success.
Well,
First roll. Wait, would it be the first roll?
This is the first
Yeah.
one.
We don't
First
know.
roll.
Praise be to Cthulhu. Help me
Actually,
out.
no, it's the second roll of the night.
I did.
The natural one.
Oh, wow.
Oh, this is-
On brand.
What was it?
It was a
On
one.
brand.
No way!
Yeah.
Like, you try to get up, and you're like, you're so hungover.
I love it. I
Like,
love it.
it's, you know that dizzy feeling where you like
Yeah,
think
yeah.
you're like flying around. and
Is
just-
Is it right, or left? I can't remember.
Which leg goes where?
Oh.
Is Ken set? Are we all in the
Not
same
using
room?
this dice.
They're
Dice,
just-
I mean,
they're
that's
just-
what
Me
one's
and
like,
Frisk in a room.
because
You're
I'll
in a
put it
room
dice
by
business.
yourself. I'm guessing.
I will arouse and
You're right.
go and find my companions.
Okay. They're in this room. Hungover.
Are you guys up?
Stop shouting.
Oh,
Only
yeah,
come
no.
in if you have water.
Oh, that made my head hurt. I'm sorry. I'm coming in. How are you doing?
Oh, no. Not good.
Wow.
I'm so dry.
It's been a while since I've drunk that much. Let us get some food in us, yes?
Oh, we still need to go find Rusty.
Yes, we should go and
It
check
might be
up on
better.
him. I'm gonna go to Ken's room.
Okay.
I'm already left. I'm downstairs.
Where's that one?
What are you knocking at?
Oh, he's not there.
It's like, Kensei?
Yeah.
Kensei?
I wonder if Rusty got this drunk at the church. I bet he did.
I don't think that's allowed.
Why not?
Drinking's not a big thing in the church.
It should be.
I mean, they have like things like sorry, I'm just choking on air. Holy wine, you know, things like that.
Oh, they have blessed wine. Blessed. Did they bless the grape? Or they bless
I would
bless them?
assume so. Gosh, so much air.
Maybe I can get Harish to bless some mushrooms.
I mean, it's something that could possibly be done. Yes.
Yes, I will talk to Harish.
Who doesn't love blessed
Is
mushrooms?
Arthur downstairs at the bar?
He is downstairs.
Arthur, it's Meg. Do you have a barrel full of water?
Yes, of course.
Can I borrow it?
Sure, I'm gonna have to charge 2 copper for it.
Oh gosh, 2 copper.
have that, but
2 copper.
Oh my god, how expensive.
Oh shit!
Okay.
You have another one?
You know what? You know, he's like, he just reaches inside his kimono and is just like.
Fuck! Gives you a big old barrel of water. Like kind of like a keg
It's
size.
just too
wooden keg, essentially.
Cool.
For water in it.
Kegs, bro.
I'll just borrow one of these.
And I wait. I wait for the opportune moment.
Alright, okay.
I just
Let us-
sit at
Let's have some food.
I sit at the end of my bed and just help.
Alright, come on.
Yeah.
There are two types of people.
Dear baby.
Smack.
So are you getting food?
We're trotting
We're getting
downstairs.
some food.
Well, more like just crawling downstairs.
So you make your way downstairs and see Kenzo sat there with a big old wooden keg of water.
Is it always so bright down here?
But not too busy this morning. A couple of people having some breakfast. Same as usual.
My head feels like it's going to explode.
They need to turn these lights down. Hello, Kenzo.
I just like tap.
Ow!
Please, what is in that?
There is one good way to recover from such things. If I may. And I just dunk his head in the water.
Me next. Oh, I need to put my own body in here.
I undo it myself.
I think the water's actually gone green.
Oh, sorry about that.
Are you shedding?
Stinkworm.
Is that the scale?
I don't think this is going to be for drinking, no?
No.
Of course.
Your scales are salty, no?
Yes, it's good water.
So a meal is 5 silver each.
Oh, I think we can do it.
I have enough.
Where's my coin?
Literally, just line them all up.
Look at him go! Ting, ting, ting.
It's going to need like a big net.
5 silver for the meal. Okay. I need to keep track of my silver.
Enough for your pencil.
Oh, I've got enough. Yeah, I have a pen. I haven't got a pencil.
Do you need a pencil?
Could I borrow a pencil, please? Yeah. Thank you.
I need a pencil.
Oh, Charles.
Alright, I always get. Is it 10 silver to 1 gold?
10 silver to
Unless you
1
have any
gold.
silver, you can just use a pen.
Uh,
I got 4 silver left.
Are we going to check on Rusty? Or
Yes, we might as well. What accent was that?
some
Where am I? Yes, we might as well, yeah.
Hungover a Latin.
just someone from across the bar just says, yeah, sure.
Me too, sister.
Wait, is that a green hood?
Mate, one of these days I'm going
What are
to...
we eating then
Going to
today,
find him.
Arthur?
We are...
So the morning meal is a soup.
Oh.
It's fairly thick. It's kind of like it's a decent meal, but it's not like the richest soup that you could possibly have. But it's certainly not just water with cabbage in it. Carrots, leeks, onions, potatoes. It's rich. There's a vegetarian and a meat option. The meat is just pretty much the same thing, but it's chunks of beef instead of mushrooms, which is in the vegetable.
It's not bad. It's well
Tastes
seasoned.
nice and warm, very delicious, and you get a piece of like sourdough bread that you can dunk into it as well. It's very delicious.
That's the good stuff. How are you?
I'm perfectly fine.
Yes. Sorry, Clan had to babysit us last night.
Oh no, that did not make me perfectly fine at all.
But it builds character, yeah.
I think I still have bruises from where you hit me 50 times.
Oh,
Last time.
you're fine.
I'm surprised you didn't miss.
Did anything happen? Did the green cloud guy come back last night?
No, I do not believe I saw
Who is he?
a green cloak.
Maybe he was just a guy in the cloak. Maybe
Looking at us suspiciously.
we do have a masked man, a lizard folk, a dragonborn.
But most people don't. Like, they look at us and then they go back to their business. He was looking at us.
We do have a bounty on our heads.
Yes, but we're
He
also.
wasn't in the same kind. He didn't look like an assassin, you know?
I like his cloak.
I like his cloak. I want one.
Maybe if we have to kill him, I can have his cloak.
Oh my god.
That is a strange way to plan out your future fashion accessories.
Look,
Everything he's wearing is he's killed from.
never hurts to be fabulous, okay?
My god.
It's good soup.
It's very good soup.
Are you chewing your soup?
We always chew our liquids in Zeros.
He just eats in the bowl.
Why is everything coming out of his mouth less and less weird to me? It's like I'm getting used to it.
Yeah, it could be a concerning concern.
So,
Let's check on Rusty.
you finish up your
Yes.
meals, feeling warm and filled. What would you like to do?
I was about to rest.
Next towards Rusty?
Oh no, but I used them in a short rest earlier. Yeah, let's
Head to the church.
to the church.
To
So,
the church.
leaving the warmth of the tavern, you head out into the briskly chilly morning in Soule City, going towards the market. That's the direction where the church is. Only a 15-minute walk. Classic early morning, well, more late morning, busyness in the streets. All the stores set up and shops open. You arrive at the church in the northern part of Soule City. What would you like to do? As you come to the front doors of the church.
I'm just imagining the whole way over. They're just like, the lights!
The
Well,
sun needs to calm down.
it's very overcast at the moment. It's it's a chilly morning.
Even though I've
People
still
kind of
got
got
my
their
clothes
cloaks around
still,
them, pulling themselves a little bit tight to keep them warm. So gentle breeze, but it's a very cold breeze that goes right through you. It's a cold day.
Ooh. Ooh.
Could rain today.
Hope so.
Oh, that's good.
What's
Let's
that?
get inside. Come on.
Yes, remember the rules. No loud
What?
noises. Oh,
Rules.
Remember we talked about like you are 10 and you need to be at like a 4.
I'm not 10.
I believe there is a.
That's what I mean. You need to be like at a 4 when we go inside. Yes.
I believe these mainlanders have a term. Use your what is it?
Inside
inside voice.
Your
Is that
indoor
how you
voice.
say it?
Yes.
We just have one place, and that's the swamp, so I have a swamp voice.
Do you have a quiet voice?
When there's 5 alligators touching your toes, that's when you have to have quiet voices.
Okay. Well, while we're inside, there are 5 alligators touching your
Just
toes.
imagine that.
Alright.
yes,
Okay.
imagine there's going to be 5 alligators. There's not actually going to be 5 alligators.
Please don't
There-
tell them that. Please don't tell them that, because they'll just attack.
There is 5 alligators.
There's not.
Oh, I misheard you.
No.
A metaphor. Yes.
What?
Okay. Let's
Okay.
go.
I just got it.
It's like having tracks on your
Okay.
It's just gonna go right over his head. Nothing got over my head. I'm too fast.
I have a filter.
It gets stuck on my friend.
So, as you enter, it seems like a morning service is coming to the end. About 13 or so people are currently gathering their belongings and just making their way towards the door. The door is actually ajar as you enter, and you can see Renaud at the top in the altar, kind of doing the same thing, kind of collecting stuff from the sermon, putting away holy books, and he kind of notices that you come in, closes it, puts it underneath onto a shelf, and makes his way down, weaving his way past the people.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Good.
I suppose you've come to see your friend.
We have
Yes.
indeed.
How does he do?
He is awake.
Oh,
He
good.
awoke this morning. He's currently resting downstairs.
Fabulous. Maybe you see him?
Yes.
Yes.
Waste no time. Take us.
He guides you back the way that you went down before, so down a door and winding down a spiral staircase and into this dimly lit room with these pillars and stone beds. And on one is Rusty. On a line, his eyes are closed at the moment, but he's kind of stood there, and people are attending to other patients, but he seems to be on his own at the moment. He's breathing, he's not dead.
Oh, my flaming scaly boy.
You're awake.
I'd recognize that voice anywhere.
Oh, how will I miss you?
You all look worse than me.
What?
I'm sure we feel it as well.
Jesus.
How are you?
I've been better, but I'll survive.
Well, it's good to see you're actually awake and talking.
How's everyone else?
Oh,
We'll be alright.
we'll be okay.
Yes.
It was difficult getting you out of there. Well, good to see that you're okay.
Yes, we managed to dispatch of those people that took you, so don't have to worry about them.
Good.
What do you remember?
It's all very hazy, but I remember mentioning Camilla. I remember they put a truth serum inside me, and they know about Camilla.
They know about Camilla.
And I also know that maybe we're not all drinking buddies. They've told me some things, and I think we need to reassess how friendly we are with each other.
What do you?
As in, I don't think we know who we're with and what we're capable of.
Right,
All I'm saying is everyone needs to wash their own backs.
I suggest we don't talk about it in a place of worship. Then.
Why? This is the perfect place
Frisk.
to talk about it.
5 alligators, remember?
Oh, fine.
Use your alligator voice, Frisk.
Alligators.
Don't.
They're not here. Apparently, it's some kind of metaphor.
He's learning!
And so begins the character. Educating.
Step 1, metaphors.
Brave as a
Join us in a
lion.
year when we'll move on to
That's a
similes.
simile, yeah.
Just wait till you have to teach him grammar.
Oh god. That's level 20.
Yeah, baby steps. Anyway.
But I am so confused. So the Rosen sisters are connected to Camilla.
They know about her.
They know about her. Why do they want to find Camilla?
Well, we have to find her before they do.
Well, we did kill them.
That was only a small group.
Yes, that was
There
4
are-
of them.
There may be more.
Do you remember how many there were?
It's all very hazy. I think there were 3, as far as I can remember.
Well, we took out more than 3. So.
Do you remember what specifically they asked you about Camilla?
Like I said, it's very hazy. I think they want to know what we want with her.
That's interesting.
So I don't suppose you remember if, not in general if they mentioned it, but their tone of questioning, if they were aligned with her or not.
I think he doesn't. I think he you know.
Worth questioning.
They seem very curious about our group. So I'd say they probably know and have contact with Camilla. The fact that they want to know what we want with her.
Well,
I guess that means your cover is blown.
potentially yes.
Oh shit, that's another thing.
They know our group very well.
They do.
I
don't know how.
They must have been watching us since we entered the city because they know Gaiak. They have his picture.
Considering they were able to jump us at a specific time when we were most vulnerable, it makes sense that they've been keeping a constant eye on us.
We do stand out.
It's because we're beautiful.
Yes, Tris, that is absolutely right.
Just out of sheer paranoia, I'm going to roll a perception check.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that as well. I'm good.
Just perception check to see
Yeah,
if we're, because after that revelation I just had where like, we've clearly been watched. I'm just going to see if we're being watched now.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that as well.
By the money waters.
I got the same as you.
Same? Oh, yours is probably better.
Mine's +3. 11.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, 11 as well.
We just stare at each other's eyes.
Well, I stare at your eyes.
There are a couple of people, like the priests and priestesses are kind of glancing over every so often. But that could just be the fact that you're having a conversation down here in this place where people are, you know.
Oh
But-
yeah.
I mean,
Is it like being loud in a library? They're just like...
kind of, a little bit. Yeah, it's not a big room. It's small.
Mm.
It's maybe double the size of this room. It's not big. Yeah. So that's probably right. But you don't see anyone that's like obviously
Yeah.
going.
Hey,
Hi, I'm the green coat guy.
I'm just watching.
And you can speak you us.
I suggest
Do you guys mind if I eavesdrop on you?
I suggest we carry on this conversation outside the place where people are being treated.
I agree.
How are you on your feet?
Let's find out.
You must be
Yeah,
better
Oh,
than
but
us.
like it takes a second to kind of gather yourself. But you know, they're working order. Everything's working fine. Everything's working fine.
You know what I mean.
It's got a morning surprise.
I've got this staff you can have walk with if you like. It's my new staff.
Thank you.
But you got to look after it
I will.
right now. And give it back to me when we're outside. I want to show you something.
Okay.
Oh no.
Oh, great.
Potentially not right outside where people are watching.
That's like,
Remember the conversation? We do it around not many people.
I'm just going to lean into Rusty and just whisper like, maybe don't let him have that back immediately.
Pretend that you
It's a
really
very,
need it.
very, very nice staff.
It seems.
It's got a snake on it. Yeah, it's a
And
snake.
it has.
So many character and I love it. Oh my god.
Rusty making a joke?
I also have a gift for you, and I give you your potion belt, and you have got 34 platinum
Whoa.
and 115 gold.
Whoa. Didn't we buy many potions?
I used his share to buy his stuff,
Oh,
so.
okay.
So you got, so you got a potion belt with a potion in it, just a regular potion, and you've got 34 platinum and 115 gold. Cool.
Thank you.
No
Oh
worries.
yes, by the way, you might need to be the guy that buys us potions from now
Oh
on.
yes, we'll explain that later.
Not because you have money, just because we can't go back.
Assuming the place is still open
Yes.
after her entire inventory was destroyed.
I heard
Look,
a
she
boar
was a
entered
bitch
there
at
or
coming.
something. I heard a boar entered our shop and destroyed
Oh, it was
everything.
crazy, yes.
Yes,
Sounds interesting.
it was.
Just a boar, no
Oh.
snakes.
No snakes.
If
there were snakes, I'd be there.
I love that subtle Rusty like, I know.
I
know.
Nice. Okay. So you make your way outside onto the nice park area out front of the of the church.
Cool.
A couple of people are sitting there. Some benches on the grass, just kind of relaxing. Some in prayer, some in just enjoying the fresh air. So, albeit very cold. Very cold.
How are your scales?
Dry.
Mine too. We should go for a dip somewhere and talk about this trust thing.
Well, we still have a barrel of water back at there.
Yes! Let's bathe.
It only fits one person.
It only fits a
I
hair.
can turn smaller.
This will affect your scales.
I'll have
You-
scales when I turn small.
Sure.
Good God.
So what would you like to do?
I don't know.
Okay. Alright. I'm so flabbergasted, but I'm so happy it's over. Right, so order of business. We got 2 jobs. Frame a noble and eliminate Camilla.
So, yes,
Which one should
Oh
we
yes,
start with?
we've taken 2 more jobs from King Mayfly. One of them, ironically, is about Camilla. So
That would be interesting.
killing her.
Now I'm definitely doing a perception check if I can.
Me too, the green hoodie guy.
Way better. That was oh, filthy 20.
Mine's shit.
What is it?
6 plus 3.
Okay. So you don't see him around.
Where is he?
he's just right behind you.
Hi. Sorry, what was it? Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Okay. I mean, there are people looking because you
We stick
stand,
out.
You stick out. So that's kind of a common thing that's going to happen. Does it look necessarily malicious? Not really. If someone is spying on you, you can't tell. Nothing looks suspicious.
I think we were talking about framing the noble first.
Yes.
Because it would weaken the underdogs. And we're basically one by one getting rid of all their powerful allies.
Yes, and this could potentially draw out Camilla.
Just to
The weaker her
to
power
the
base gets, the more desperate she'll be.
Yes.
How to frame a noble.
This is the first question. How do we do that? Who was it again? I didn't write down the name.
It's Asthorn.
Oh, I did
I'm
write
just going
down
to
the
say
name.
how you
That's what it
pronounce it
was.
because I kept pronouncing it incorrectly multiple times. It's Asthorn
Yep.
That's fun.
Fayredon. Fayredon.
It's spelled like Fayardin, but it's pronounced Fayardin.
Like ye old fair.
Yeah.
Which was what was throwing me up trying to say it in like Latina accent.
Latin.
What was it? Fayredon.
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 So Fayredon. You
It's
just say
spelled
Asthorn
Fayredon, but it's
Fayredon.
pronounced
Fayredon.
Asthorn Fayredon.
Asthorn Fayredon.
But it's spelled.
It
I'm
is-
just spelling out how it's
It
pronounced.
was
Yeah, just do that, it's much
the
easier.
the Rosemary Manor in the Lavenders.
Yes.
Oh, don't want to go back there. Actually, I do. I still have flowers.
It was very, very floral there.
Very nice.
But maybe that could be our first thing to do. Maybe scope it out, see what the security is like.
Yes.
You
Maybe I'll have a little chat with their mice. See what we can find out.
could do that.
Mm.
Ooh. Wow.
I think
That sounds fun.
If they talk to me, that's the question. Yes. Or the rats. You still have that rat?
I do not. I gave it to Bernal.
What did he say about the rat?
There is some sort of disease in the poorer sections of the city.
Disease.
There are quite a lot of these rats around the God, I've forgotten the name.
Sickly Owl.
Thank you. The Sickly Owl, which makes it fit up to its name now, actually.
I want to look into that. I am concerned about little rats dying. Lots of rats.
People do.
I know.
Just to make sure. But perhaps the idea you mentioned about the mice, you can speak with animals?
Yes. Who do you think I am?
That's a
many
very good
things.
point.
But it would be good for reconnaissance. We know nothing about this man. It would be good to gather some information about him, some things that perhaps only a small creature could have seen, as opposed to a maid or a butler.
On my experience, though, the mice, how do I put this? Their interests lie elsewhere. Sometimes we have to find a particularly curious mouse.
What is that thing you mainlanders eat? The yellow thing? Cheese?
Cheese?
Yes. Can we?
Oh.
I heard that
Never-
mice like that.
You've never had cheese?
No, it's mostly fish and rice we eat where I come.
Fair enough.
Cheese.
You're going to love cheese.
We don't eat cheese in Zeros.
No?
Not cow cheese. No.
Let me guess, crocodile cheese.
What?
I can imagine the branding now.
You can be absurd. Crocodile cheese? No. No.
Where is it from then?
It is from the toad's back. It is not cheese.
Every time I think he's reached the line gets moved further away.
It's like gunch. It's gunchy. It's like cheese.
It's slime.
Toad food.
Toad food.
What's toad food?
Like toad food.
Toad food. I like toad. I don't eat. Yes, I only lick their cheese.
Welcome back, Rusty.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know what? I am super curious about Zeros now.
It's a nice place.
But perhaps
Please.
we could use.
Please do not go there. I will have to watch back like
14?
20. Well, it depends on when it is. Like every episode previously, and go through them and go, okay, what the fuck did he say about it?
You mean you don't remember everything off by heart?
So hey,
Oh god, internet.
so hey, audience, if you want to make a montage of every time Thrick says in Zeros,
That would be great for me.
but perhaps we could use some of that to bribe the mice.
Well, we need to find a mice that actually lives in the rich parts of the community, because by the sounds of it, they only congregate around the poorer parts.
If we're going to do that, we need to find mice in the poorer parts, yes. So we can take it to the rich mice. Because I'm afraid if they're quite, what is the word?
Pretentious?
Pretentious. Yes, but we don't like pretentious mice.
Actually, that could be a good initial plan. If we cannot find any form of pet or rodent living in the house, perhaps you could simply turn into one and sneak in there.
Why don't we just do that straight away?
It is less risky to put him in there than it is to just ask a mouse.
I can't turn into a mouse.
It's less risky to ask the mouse than it is to put him in there.
You can't turn into a mouse.
No,
What's the smallest creature you can turn into?
we don't have mice in Zeros.
Oh yeah, you need
So
to
let
study
me get
something.
this straight. You can only turn into animals that are from Zeros.
Yes, or the ones I have looked into very closely into their eyes, yes.
Right. So if we found a mouse, you could look into its eyes and then you could turn into it.
Might take me days. I need to open it up
There are
and
no
stare into its soul.
rodents in Zeros.
There's rodents, but there's not mice. They get eaten.
What is the smallest rodent you have in Zeros?
I could turn into a spider.
Oh yes.
You wouldn't end up with that would suit our needs.
But we're, as much as I love the idea of talking to mice, we also need to find out some more about this Asthorn. We could ask around, see what people know about him. It is a he, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
If he's a noble, it's less likely we will find information in the poorer sections of the city.
Well, that's what I mean. We should maybe go closer to the Lavenders, ask around and
If
see what people know about
Before
him.
possible, our dealings with actually just remember his name.
You're not speaking of the rich guy that
Frederick.
we
What are you
saw.
on the Frederick?
Friedrich?
I don't like him.
No, me neither.
Nor do I, but
I don't think he will like us.
We
as it stands, we did.
stole from him.
I stole from him.
Yes.
That is a point, but
Yeah, I need to sell that.
as it stands, we have done him a service, and perhaps we could get some information from him about this Asthorn.
That is a good idea.
We might not even be allowed into the Lavenders. Because last time we were going, we were with Setting Stars. And
Yes, you won't
he
like
had a
this
paper.
man. He's Not very nice. Smells bad.
Well, we could always go and find setting stars and see if they will take us back in.
Yeah, we could. Where was it he said he was
The
staying?
barracks.
Barracks.
It was the barracks, wasn't it? It was converted into like a
Yes,
just a
so
place
kind
to
of
stay.
barracks converted into a tavern.
That could be a good way to do.
Shall we do that first? Does anybody need to shop?
I'm pretty
What do you say?
cool.
Do you need to shop? Do you need any supplies?
No, but I want to know what Rusty means about washing backs. You said in the church we need to wash our own backs.
I'll explain
Oh.
later.
Oh my god.
So you
He doesn't
won't wash my back
No.
anymore.
It's another metaphor. Good.
You and these metaphors. I'm starting to think your restless place with your restless water, but it's not actually restless.
I think I understood about 2/4 of it.
Yeah.
Let us go and find setting stars.
If he's still here.
So you're heading to the spy yard.
Mm.
Okay. So leaving the church.
Before we leave, I just thank the guy. The head. Who's the head guy?
Renault.
Reynolds. Yeah, I just literally got up to him and say,
So you're just popping back in.
yeah, I just pop back in and just basically be like, yes, thank you for taking care of my friend, and I'll be sure that the accents thank you.
It is no problem. It is a job.
May I ask a question? What
Oui?
I can't really get it from this place. What god does this particular church serve? Of the 8?
Valence,
That's the
the
yeah.
god of the god of gods, the god of
Yeah.
sun, life,
Yeah, that's it.
which is the I'll show you a thing just so that you can see. I don't know if you've seen it on the thing, so I'll just
I've-
quickly show.
Read through it
Okay.
quickly, but
So
Need to
this is
remember
the
it.
symbol of balance. This is the symbol that's on the top. This is the symbol that's on the
yeah,
top
south.
of the
Yeah.
steeple.
Well, I again thank you, and I'll hopefully show my gratitude soon.
No need to. I hope your friend does well. If you anything else, if he seems off, don't hesitate to bring him back, and we'll try to help however we can. It is always a pleasure to have a Daxton.
The pleasure is all mine.
Well, enjoy your day. I must
Yes,
prepare for
And then
mass.
walk out. Catch up with these guys.
So, meeting back up with them, you leave the park outside the church, back onto Market Street, passing the market, which is now heaving with people buying and selling, sweet smells of of food being cooked at little market stalls, and you continue onwards, turning south and heading back towards the large stone walls that make up the castle district. And as you approach those gates, you see the barracks-like structure of the supply yard and make your way inside. As you do so, at this point in the day, it's fairly busy. There are a number of seats available, but remembering that they are like long benches down the centre of the room, with the spiral staircase at one end, at either end towards like towers with rooms in them that you previously went to, and a bar on the left-hand side of the room, with a young-looking man with like a worn and dirty apron, wiping a mug, and every so often pouring a drink or going to bring food to a table. Again, they're mostly soldiers, so the patrons, being so close to the castle ward and the actual new barracks. So you enter in, a couple of looks up.
Brask in here. No, no worries. He must not be here.
He looks up at his book and he looks so excited.
I was looking for Brask.
Who the fuck is Brask?
The lizard folk soldier.
Oh, yes!
Oh, let's go. Are you looking for me?
Oh.
Initiative!
No, Brask is not in there.
Oh man.
There are a few lizard folk, however, but they're not interested in whatever
Literally, you
you
just
say.
have to look at Brass
They're
funny
not,
and he'd want to fight you.
Yeah, they're not.
Would you
They're
look at
not
me
Brask.
on the side eye? Initiative!
He's my favorite soldier in this place.
He's got a bit of a temper, no?
It just needs cracking open.
Yes?
Yes.
You think he's a softie underneath?
Yeah, but I think it might be a bit squidgy inside.
Yeah?
Tends to be quite squidgy when you crack lizard folks open.
That is the case for most living things, but yes, thank you very much for that lesson, Chris.
Oh, you were talking about actually cracking one. Okay.
Yeah. Again, metaphor, but we won't talk about that right now. Is setting stars in the room?
Roll a perception check.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
Sheet.
Nice, we'll have a little look.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Everyone
Anyone
will-
else have a look?
Yeah,
everyone
I'll-
will be looking.
I guess I'll look.
Oh!
Everyone can look?
Everyone, yeah.
I
they're
guess
all
we-
looking
We're
for
all
certain
looking
stuff.
for him. So.
It's perception, isn't it?
Perception.
It's your 20, 22. 22.
Is that a 6 or a 9?
15.
So, 22. Did you roll?
No, I
you roll
haven't,
it?
no.
Okay.
Ah, well,
22.
I wouldn't worry about it. 22.
Lower than 10.
Lower than 10, yes.
15.
15.
Arrow,
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Arrow,
Yeah.
I can see him. I'm looking at a wall.
So, you're looking around. None of you can see him in this main room. You're certain he's not in here.
Can't smell him.
Shall we try in his room?
I go up to the person at the bar and I go, yes, excuse me, have you seen a tabaxi, a tabaxi black fur, with a grey-skinned person?
Roll a perception check.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my god. That's 20.
Hey!
So, what's that in total?
25. Wait. Persuasion?
Mhm.
Yeah, 25.
Ooh,
Jeez.
that's a big one.
We're friends of his.
Of course. He handed his key in yesterday, said his business in the city was done.
Oh, so he's gone.
He's on the move.
Oh, well, that's...
I can leave a note here in case he comes back.
No, that's it's fine. We just wanted to say goodbye, but I guess we were too late.
I'm sorry about that.
It's fine. It's not your fault. Don't worry about it.
I miss the smell of his wet fur.
No, we're nursing drinks from the night before.
What room was he?
Water.
What room was he in?
Sorry?
Which room was he in?
It's left tower, floor 2. Let me just check. He kind of pulls out a little leather-bound book. Sorry, what was his name again?
Setting stars.
Setting stars. Oh yeah. Left tower, room 2.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your help.
In case you might
Here
miss
is
something.
a silver.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Wow, Frisk, you gave him
That was very kind.
silver
of you.
instead of like toes and mushrooms.
I'm learning this in the city. You don't deal in the same currency.
No,
But
it's...
this is
I'm
a
impressed.
great day. You have learned. Not that you're not a very intelligent person, you
Just
know.
shut up and keep going.
You just have a different set of knowledge, you know. So this
Yes,
is very good.
I'm very wise.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I'm gonna go up to his room just to
Extra
see
doubt.
if he left anything.
Okay.
God, I wish we had face cam.
Okay, so you make your way up.
Mm.
Are you just kind of going up there and trying to be stealthy about it? Just so I know.
No, I'm just
Okay.
just trying to be just chill.
Cool. So you make your way up to the room, to the front door
Mm.
of his room that you were in before.
Does the door open?
It's locked.
It's locked. Is there like a hole I have to peek through?
I mean, there is
In
a
the door?
keyhole.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do a perception to see if I can hear anyone on the
Oh
other
yeah,
side.
that's a good shout actually.
Oh, are you going up with her?
Yeah,
Okay.
Just to hear
Right,
anything.
okay, roll a perception check to try and hear.
Oh, that was going to be a natural 20
So
and then it
good.
rolled back. Fuck's sake.
7.
11.
Don't hear anything from the other side.
It's clean. Oh god.
Can I say the keyhole? Can I peek through it?
Sure, roll me a perception check with disadvantage because
Yeah,
it's
that's
really small.
That's fair. No.
Yeah, it just, you kind of get when you look in, you can just about see, like you can just see the table, and that's really the only vision that you get. It just kind of looks like it's been neatly put together, like chairs under the table.
Screw it.
You wait a moment. No response.
Well, I wanted to see if maybe he left us a message or something, but I don't know if I want to pick the lock.
Oh, that's up to you. If you're that curious.
I am so curious. I'm very curious. I'm gonna pick the lock.
Walking up.
Hold on, move out the way.
What the?
Throw herself at the door.
I was going to.
Roll a like, are you trying to break through it? Roll a strength check.
I was going to. Is that a 20 or is that a 1?
It's a natural 20.
There's no
21.
Roll good when it doesn't
Of course
count.
it is. There's no in between with frisk. It's 1 or 20.
Right. What's the strength?
I was going to pick
21.
the lock.
Poof, like the lock snaps open, there's a loud thump, the
Oh my
door
God.
splinters and cracks, like it's a fuck door, it's like kind of just hanging on.
Oh,
It looks like
you
the
have to pay
hinges
for
are
that.
starting to like break out the wall.
I
but
put
now
the
it's
door back on and just instantly cast mending.
not. The door is larger than.
Fuck.
It's more than it's more than
yeah.
5.
I
We're
forgot
going
about
to
that.
have to pay for this.
downstairs.
I've already
Like,
It's
paid
also
for
a
it.
small cut or tear.
I don't think a server's going
This,
to
the door is fucked.
Yeah, okay.
Immediately,
Someone
you
moving
can
furniture
hear,
upstairs.
like, there's some talking from downstairs.
I just walked down
Like
instantly. I
people.
just head in hand, just walked down. Just like,
It's alright, I paid for it already.
it's gonna be more than 1 silver.
Here's a gold.
2 guards are like making their way up.
Oh my
So they're
God.
up into-
It's the
What's
potion.
happening up there?
Oh, no.
over again.
A man forgot his key, lost it, and we're trying to help him back in, and he's a lizard folk.
Roll a persuasion
What
check.
if one of them is?
Yeah, what is it?
I would not have said that if there were lizard folk.
Deception check.
Is that with advantage? Oh, that.
Technically no.
Okay, that's 18.
18?
Mhm.
We're still gonna have to check it out. Come on.
What's that?
He says to the kind of the guard next to him. They kind of make their way past you and make their way up
Is
to.
there anything in the room that looks like he was left for us?
Okay, so as he's going downstairs, you guys go into the room. Roll a.
Perception.
Well,
Some
it depends.
investigation. I'm looking
Are
for
you
some-
are you looking specifically for something? Because
Like Kessler's just downstairs, like.
okay.
Well,
Are you doing like
perception.
a glance, or are you kind of going in to try and like frantically search for things?
I think a glance first, just see if I can
Yeah.
see
Roll a
like, it's like a
perception
note or something, you know?
What? No,
I've
20.
not rolled above a 10. I've not rolled above a 10.
25.
Fucking hell.
10.
Okay.
She's a natural 1 or a natural 20 for me today.
So you have literally
I'm
just
glad your
No,
eyes are
march
open.
through
I've
this
not rolled
corridor.
above a 10.
There it is.
From the glance, you can't see anything that's particularly obvious that would have been left out for you. The room looks like it's been cleaned and set up for new
Another
patrons to
guess.
come in.
Alright.
Still smells of him. Oh.
And as you say
and
that-
we leave.
2 guards come up to the floor, look at the splintered, broken door, and you guys kind of stood in the. You two stood in the room. What's going on here? Someone said that someone had lost their keys and broken in.
Yes, I was looking for my stuff, but it seems I've been taken out of here.
What?
We were staying in this room and he left something in here and we were going to ask someone to come and open it, but he got impatient, he's very strong, and he broke the door. My
Okay, roll a deception check.
Oh,
deepest
God.
apologies.
With
Pick the best.
advantage,
Pick
because
the
you
good one.
were helping.
Pick the good one, pick the good one.
Okay, thank God. 22.
Right, well, either way, you're going to have to pay for the damages to the door. I have to take it downstairs and
Yes,
see what
yes,
the owner says.
prepared to do that. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I just walk down. I just look at you, just like Frisk.
Why do I leave him alone?
So one guy kind of stays with you as the other one goes down to go and get the the owner, and a few minutes later someone comes back upstairs with the guard, and it's the young man from behind the bar.
Oh, he's the owner.
Oh.
He
What
doesn't
happened?
know his own strength.
I know that. I think you may remember me. I saw you earlier downstairs.
Yes, you asked who was in this room. You're not in this room.
No, my
But
friend. My friend lives here.
that's not what he told us. We were told that they were staying in this room. That's not true. They came in and asked to see if their
Yes, our
friend was
friend
staying
was
in this
in
room.
here. I just thought it would be less suspicious if it's we were in here.
Roll a
Except disadvantage.
persuasion with disadvantage.
That's fair. Both good though. 19.
With disadvantage? Damn.
Perception. Charisma.
What would you like us to do? I suppose they haven't done really any harm except from breaking the door. If
We'll
they
pay
paid
for the door.
damages.
Yes.
Out of my own pocket.
I suppose
With
2 gold will do it.
2 gold. Yes. You drive an easy bargain.
Thank you. Please don't come again.
Yes, no, we won't. We're leaving.
We're-
We're leaving.
We're slowly just getting ourselves back every place.
This is our sub-quest. We just get banned from every establishment in the city.
There's an achievement from getting banned from all of them.
Gotta get that gamer score.
500 gamers.
At some point, I'm just going to hold up a piece of paper that just says achievement. Oh, okay.
We're leaving. We're leaving.
So you make your way out.
Well,
Bloody hell.
that was fruitless.
You guys didn't even leave us a message.
Got derailed so fast.
Let's go and scope out. Actually, we're near the lavenders, aren't we?
You are currently down here. The lavenders here. So yeah, about 20-ish minute walk.
Yeah. On the walk towards the lavenders, I want to keep an eye out for like green hoods. Yes, green hoods, but also like a place that would sell like very like jewelry or like fine china, like antique, something like that.
Well, you actually are passing Kyoko's.
Oh.
Ooh.
Well, Kyoko.
Gee.
Oh yes, it's in that area, isn't it?
Yep, Kyoko's here. That's Kyoko's armory. What's this one?
Kensei, your people.
Outrageous Oddities is here. Sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Actually, we could go to her as well. Do you? I don't know.
But
Obviously,
you know of them.
I am still learning about your culture, but you would Kyoko find a good use for the shiny plate that I stole from the guy?
Remind me
It was
that
like a jewel encrusted like plate.
if you're trying to incriminate someone with fenced goods,
But I don't know. I
probably not.
okay. Well, so I could probably swing by Melvora.
I like Melvora. She gave me my stuff.
She's something.
Rusty's just got it.
Oh, thank you.
Yo, what have you done?
Trusty someone. Don't worry.
Would you guys mind if we just swung by
We'll tell you later.
Melvora's? I want to try and sell this plate to her.
Yeah, let's get rid of the incriminating evidence.
Yes. Let's go.
Okay. So you're heading to Malvora.
Outrageous oddities.
Cool. So you head out from the supply yard, heading back north, back into Market Street. From there, you wind through a couple of alleyways, making your way to Malvora, who is at the kind of the back streets of the area. and you arrive at Malvora's shop.
Walk in. Hello.
Hello!
Greetings.
I'd almost forgot what she said.
All this stuff, I'm telling you, I love it. I love it.
It's good, isn't it?
Yes, it's my favorite thing on this world.
Hey, you might enjoy a couple of other things I've got as well.
You have some new
Got
stock.
more.
No, I'm just saying you might enjoy it.
Oh, fair enough.
I told you I sold quality goods.
You do. I
So
did.
what can I do for you this fine day? Have you reconsidered?
Oh, your offer.
Oh, your offer. Job.
I mean,
yes.
we will get onto that in just a moment. But I was wondering if maybe you would be like to have this. And I pull out the plate, the jewel encrusted plate. I'm willing to sell it to you if you want.
She does the thing she did last time.
I love that.
Little glass magnifying thing around her eye. No, it's mighty nice.
Very well made.
Silver,
Mm.
jewels.
I have a name on it.
And the secret ingredient. Crime.
What does
He's
he stole it?
He's he's learning about metaphors. He doesn't quite grasp it yet.
You do realise an offence for the guild, right? I buy stolen goods.
Oh yeah.
Look, we've been getting kicked out of a lot of establishments. We just wanted to make sure that, okay, but now we know, so yes, anyway, carrying on.
Well, it is mighty nice, but the fact that it's stolen does devalue it slightly, unfortunately.
Oh,
I'm trying to sell it on.
Frisk.
I'm
15,
sorry,
I'll
I
give you
just.
15 gold for it.
Oh.
And if we hadn't told you it was stolen? Just for my sanity.
Don't tell her.
20 to 25.
Oh, it's not much more.
Oh, I can give you that. I'm sorry.
You know what, I mean, I don't think we're going to get much for it. I mean, it is a nice thing, but
This is also stolen.
sure, you take it.
Excellent, I'll add it to my collection. She kind of like hovers off to a back room. Like things are crashing and she's moving stuff around, comes out with a little pouch. 15 gold.
Thank you very much.
Did you hear about Burst Alice?
Yes. It is,
No, I don't really keep up to date with much of the news in the city's lives.
Or do the shop people not come together and talk about shop things?
Is that what happens in Zeros?
See, when we have traders coming to the Zeros, we kind of know when they're here because they bring all kinds of creatures with them.
You can tell us more about that on the way out.
They're quite loud.
And I just take him right round the shoulder and just walk him out as he's talking about that.
you sell muzzles?
Like a fetish thing.
Sure.
I can have a leaf. I don't know if I
Oh, well, now I have to see if
Like
you have
you.
one.
do. For human.
And no, for people with snouts, you know.
List folk.
Ooh, have a look. No.
You should look into getting some.
That's a wee kinky stuff in the
But what about
Handles.
reins? You know, that they use for babies.
Wait, what?
You know, reins that they use for babies. You know, so they don't wander off.
A leash.
Yes.
What?
I'm
This feels
just-
like it might be a wee bit racially charged.
no, I'm just imagining walking Chris Grant on reins. Good fun.
You said that you come on to talking about the job.
Oh yes, I mean we are definitely. I mean I don't know. I can't speak for my companions, but
Yeah,
I'm
we're all out the shop.
definitely interested.
Hey,
in
sexy muzzles first, okay?
it. You don't know what I'm into. I am interested.
I just need to know because if you
aren't wanting to take it on, I'll just hire someone else to do it, but I'd rather it be someone that I can rely on, really.
Well, I can speak for my companions, but when it comes to jewelry, I'm your girl.
So,
I'll look into it.
you're interested?
Of course.
Okay.
Okay.
Because we haven't really talked.
No.
Well, tell me. Let's talk about it right now. Tell me about this business. This is such a disjointed session so far. I love it.
We aren't called the wild cards for nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, exactly. That's his own name. Should we?
More of
Should we
time.
spread
Since
the
the last time you're here,
You know about the objects she sells.
my private investigator came back and told me that he believes that the group that had taken it took it to a hideout outside the city,
outside the
in a hamlet called Dagger's Cove. It's to the west.
Say that name again, sir.
Dagger's Cove.
Dagger's Cove.
Dagger's Cove.
And that's to the west of here.
Aye, on the shore of the lake.
To the west on the shore of the lake.
He believes it's been taken there.
Fabulous.
Wait, what's her name again?
Malvola.
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 I was Malvola. I thought it was Malvora. Well, I will look into this. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Rusty, they don't know inside. They got very nice items in there. They had
There was some
magic
guy.
weapons.
Like what?
Oh, let me remember. They had
The owl goggles, the phase axe, the wand of whispers, and the great sword of resurgence.
I've put down I want the wand.
Some really cool sounding
The
stuff.
wand is
Because
expensive.
you didn't get to check it out when it was
Sweet.
session way on here.
And the phase axe is expensive. I like the sound of that.
Some of these weapons are more expensive than property
Oh, you got the
in
prices.
the city.
Yeah.
Good prices, didn't you?
Yeah.
So how much was the wand again?
So the wand and the axe are pretty pricey, but the
5,500,
goggles and
I
the
think,
great
something
sword.
like
5,500.
I need to look it up, but it's something like that expensive.
I only have 1,500.
The great sword sounds
What are
quite
the owl
fun.
goggles? What?
See in the dark.
See
Yeah,
in
if
the
you don't
dark.
have dark
If you didn't have dark
You get
vision,
dark
it would
vision,
give you
yeah.
dark vision. I think this was pretty fun, but I can't remember what it does.
The great sword.
Resurgence.
It's a normal greatsword, but when you when you're bloodied, so when you drop to half hit points, it
Does extra
becomes
damage or something?
+1 or something like that. It changes to a magical
Yeah.
weapon,
Right.
something like that.
There's no ranged weapons like that.
No, only
Not
the
the-
staff,
not
really.
the shield,
And the
shield.
wand.
And the wand.
Well, the wand, I just want to say it so I can do magic without speaking.
Mm,
Very, very powerful. That's why it's so expensive.
Yeah.
yeah.
Actually, without speaking.
So I can literally just be like, wand. So
You
then
can
the
do
So,
magic
or you
comes.
would just have to kind of do like a sleight of hand to cast
Oh.
a spell
Yeah.
secretly.
Whoa, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I eventually can do that in wild shape automatically. I can cast spells in wild shape.
Wait, can you cast spells in wild shape?
Yeah, at
Yeah,
what point?
Man.
High level.
High level druids are spooky.
So you can
Everything's
basically, you can
broken.
basically
Yeah,
just
true,
be
yeah.
a
Rogues are
T-Rex.
broken
Yeah.
from the beginning.
Well, not the way I
20d6
roll.
damage, come on. Yeah, true.
Yeah. I literally, like that last roll was the first time I'd rolled above a 10.
Yeah, your rolls are
So-
just basically balancing your class out.
Pretty much. Anyway. Thank you, Malvola.
Okay.
Thank you. See you again soon.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
Come back. I was wondering if you knew anything about Asthorn Fayredon. I know, but...
She reminds me of the one from Labyrinth, the one that's got in the clutter room
Oh god.
in Labyrinth, when there's room for all the stuff.
It's been forever since I've seen that movie.
not
I think I know you.
really. He sometimes has people
come into the shop to find, to see if I've got anything of a particular collection he's trying to finish.
He's trying to finish a collection.
Well, just crap, really.
What is the collection?
Loads of different things. Sometimes it's just ceramic stuff, or
like
statuettes, like a collection.
Any particular type of statuettes, or
any pardon?
Particular type of statuettes?
Yeah.
Like for gods
Small
or something?
Oh! So turn one of us into a statuette.
And do what?
I just take Fritz and put him back outside.
Well, thank you anyway.
Sorry, I can help you.
That's fine. Do you know anybody who might know him particularly well? He has any allies in this part of the city?
Not that I can think of. But if there's anything like any of the others that from Lavender's, I'd say he probably visits the Light Brew House.
The Light Brew House?
Aye, it's a bar for those with a bit more coin. Gambling takes place at a casino, I suppose.
Well, thank you very much for the
He
information.
probably visits brothels as well. Everyone, they all do. So there's probably going to be more information there if you're trying to look for anything.
Wait, is that in the
That's my guess. I could be wrong.
Thank you very much for the information.
No problem.
Very well. Oh, I'm good, thank you, sir. So, I have a lead. Asthorn... What? Asthorn, much like many nobles, frequents or may frequent the Light Brew House. It is a casino-like tavern. So we could go there and see if we could find him or anyone who knows him. Get some information.
Where is this tavern located?
Did she say where it was?
Did she say where it was? What's right?
The Light Brew House, yeah. Is it actually in the Lavenders itself?
Just going to double check for you.
How do we miss Vegas this entire time? It was always there.
Maybe we have to put on our list.
Yes, it is.
It's inside the Lavenders, okay. So, it is inside the Lavenders itself. So it looks like we need to get inside the Lavenders one way or another.
Well, we can't use setting stars, so that means we have to break in.
It does. We don't really have any paperwork to let us in.
Well, we could just try and walk in.
We will get stopped. We've been banned from so many establishments.
We do not look like we belong there.
Unless Mayfly has any sway. You have a sigil now?
Possible.
Oh, yes, it's better than my idea. I had an idea about the toad thing again, and I just want to do it.
Did you
When the time
We're
comes.
gonna do this one day.
did you glean anything about Asthorn himself? Like,
She doesn't know him. Only that he frequents her shop. Well, he sends people to her shop to try and find things to finish his collection. So he's obviously a collector of fine things.
Don't like that. Put the DM's rolling. I really don't like that.
Oh yes,
Perception check.
we are. We're going.
Insight!
We have planned. We can turn one of your magic. We turn one of us into a statuette, and then we present it to this man. Then we get put in his collection.
I think you're underestimating how powerful magic that is.
though as ridiculous as that is, I think you are on a similar track. Perhaps we simply present him with something that we go to the door. That would get us through the door if we say that we're here to present a rare artifact.
We do have a staff that can turn into a snake.
No.
Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. We wouldn't actually give it to him. We would pretend like we're going to, just to get it
Not
over.
not even pretend.
Okay.
Not my little sweetie. No. I'm not.
I do have a fist-sized ruby.
Did you not sell it?
No, because I think Violet didn't offer me enough. I thought, no, I
What is
want
it?
that.
We have to frame them. Is that what
We have to
Frame
find
them, yes, for something.
But I just want
We're not allowed
to find
to
out some
hurt-
information first.
The obvious one's
they're
murder.
quite tight on witchcraft, aren't they?
That is
So
true.
magic.
That's a good idea.
Sorry, just to backtrack, because I'm just trying to remember now. Did when you gave us the job, did Mayfire specifically say that he wanted them like to be criminally implicated, or just like their reputation ruined, like for him when he's framed? He wasn't specific about it.
He just wants,
Ruined.
yeah,
Yeah.
Ruin it.
whatever form that might take,
Yeah.
Well,
without him being killed.
last time we were offered something like this, we used undead. We could use undead again.
I think perhaps that is not a good idea. That would lead to many deaths. And we barely managed to clear that up with Mayfire last time, and he was expecting a few bodies.
Yes, maybe less bodies this time.
Well, the rats. They are dying in large quantities. It's not. It's not like some kind of plague, is it?
He was being equated to something starting of a plague, yes.
Could use that.
We do not want to kill this man.
No, as in we could use that as in like, I don't know, he's like trying to start a plague to kill off poor people, I don't know. It's an option.
That's a bad.
I think it might be good to investigate whether he has any real...
Is he actually doing that?
Before we start fabricating something.
He is working with an underground organisation.
He's trying to kill off the
The
peasants.
underdogs.
Yeah,
He's connected with an underground organisation. Worst comes to
Maybe
worst,
we
we
get
can
the
just
help.
get him for something that he's actually doing that's legal.
This is my point.
But
It's easier to find real secrets he has rather than fabricating ones.
Yes.
well, that's why I wanted to find out more information about him before we just go, you know.
I think perhaps that may factor into the job. I think perhaps, as distasteful as he is, it would be a good idea to ask Friedrich about information about his
I
wife.
also think that is a good option.
At the very least, you also mentioned that they might frequent brothels.
Yes.
I don't think I could do this, but one of us could help gather information there.
Why don't you think you could do it?
Do I look like I can blend in at a brothel?
I'm taking. You don't know what people are into though. I spent some time in a brothel. I'm happy to go in. Not like that, don't think no, but I lived in one for a time.
You lived in a brothel.
That
Yes.
does not dissuade what I initially thought.
Hey, look, a good way to find out about people is go there in bed, you know what I mean?
Should we perhaps try that first? Or
I mean, we can do. I'm assuming there's probably a brothel inside the Lavenders, but there could be some outside. Maybe he likes a little bit of rough, you know? Do we know of any brothels apart from the Velvet? I mean, is the Velvet Garden a brothel?
Velvet Garden is a brothel.
Do you reckon you go
Is
there?
is there a brothel in the Lavenders, or do we not know?
I think Mayfire would tell us if he went to the one in the Velvet Garden.
Yeah,
if
probably
he
would
is
have.
if he is working with the underdogs, it is highly unlikely that he would
Yeah.
frequent a brothel owned by their competitors.
Yeah, that's true.
Do we know of, or have we passed any other brothel in the city?
Not that's been apparently obvious.
Okay, so we'd have to ask
But
around.
then, like, high-end establishment, like the Velvet Gardens isn't a brothel, it's a gentleman's club.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
But
yeah,
it's
yeah.
really, but the facade is that it's a brothel.
Brothel, yeah.
So, like, prostitution isn't necessarily it's not legal, but it's not a people don't really go out of their way to charge for it.
Yeah.
So as long as it's kind of hidden behind wraps,
Yeah.
they're not going to get caught up in it. So for that reason, a lot of them are like either behind facades of places or just
Right,
well
right.
out of it.
So, it would seem we have two options. We try and get into the Lavenders somehow, or we ask around for a brothel and hope that the first one we go to, he has been to.
I say we try and get into the Lavenders first because if we can't get into London, this whole thing is just
Pointless.
yeah.
We could always try and sneak in. Because we're not really model citizens right now. Do we think that our sigil from Mayfly will get us in?
It's all worth trying.
Yes, it is. If not, we can always try we need to see him because we're antiques dealers or whatever and we have something to sell him.
Yes.
And
I like
flash the ruby.
Rusty's idea.
Remind me what that was.
Witchcraft.
Yes.
Magic.
If we end
They
up
seem
having,
very tight on magic.
if we end up having to fabricate something, that would actually be a good avenue to pursue.
Witchcraft?
Planting something in his home.
Like a magical staff that can turn into a snake.
No.
I mean, shall we just kick it off with that?
We must also consider that it is entirely possible that if he collects rare artifacts and frequents Malvolo's shop, that he may already actually have magical items that we can use to frame.
We could go into his house, and if he has, or even if he hasn't, we could set up a room that looks like a little ritual room, and we can lure guards into it, and then boom.
Perhaps. But I think we need to try and see if we can get it first.
Let's try and see if we can get in. Everybody put on your best faces. Come on, brush off.
This is my first.
Put your hair back. Nice and neat. Smiles.
My flails are
Okay, let's see if we can get inside.
It's in these things where the stress starts for me.
Everybody get your
I can't
sigils out
talk
as well.
shit.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
where was
we're heading to
To the lavenders.
the Lavenders. Okay. So making your way away from the heading off from outrageous oddities, you get back onto Market Street and arrive shortly thereafter at the gates towards the Lavenders. There are two guards stood there as usual, and as you approach, they're the same thing as last time from when you came. They put their spears across and go and look you up and down. Papers.
Is one of them one of the guys that we saw?
Uh,
I thought.
papers.
papers.
Yes, papers. Will be on your way.
Start talking, please. Start talking, please, so he doesn't.
Sorry, I'm having my lunch up.
We are here to see Asthorn Fayredon. We are exotic antique dealers.
You look like mercenaries.
Yes, well, that is naturally. You know the roads are very dangerous. It is an attempt to ward people off.
Roll a persuasion check. Or deception. It's kind of a little bit of both, so I'll
They're
give you the
both the
option
same. They're both the same, but yeah. Eight.
As behind her. No, wait, no, that's bad. I didn't know one. Would the gods know about him working with? I go up to the guards and ask.
there. Well, first of all,
Yeah, sorry.
she has said something, and she rolled. We have a few people that come through here regularly, and you do not look like any kind of antique dealers that I've ever seen. If you want to make an appointment with one of the lords here, then you are welcome to do so, but I can't let you through unless you have the right papers. This is a private sector of the city. We don't let just anyone through.
Where do we make an appointment?
I am not just anybody.
Frisk.
No,
Crocodiles. Toes.
I was an art dealer in Zeros. You ever been to Zeros?
Can't say that I ever have.
Then you are missing out. We have the most ancient of art. And if you don't let us in, Fayredon is going to be very sad.
Roll me.
You could lose your job if you deny him this.
Intimidation.
Oh my.
That face. No way.
It's an 8.
What is my low rolls today, man?
Where can we make an appointment?
Well, you'll have to talk to one of the individuals that works for him. I do not know. I am here simply to look over papers and to let those with the right papers in.
Do you know where we can find these individuals?
Who exactly are you talking about?
What, the noble?
Yes.
Yeah.
Asthorn Fayredon.
Well, I don't know him very well. I don't think that I could help you trying to find where to talk to the people to talk to him. Look, this is just my job. I'm here to let people in and out. It's no personal vendetta here. This is me just doing my job.
Of course. We'll make an appointment.
Yes.
Good day.
Good day. Come. Okay, so just walking in, we need papers, right?
We're breaking in.
We could do that, or I could do old fashioned and maybe follow someone walking out and steal their papers.
Oh,
If it
Or
is.
forge them.
That's what I would
forge
do.
them. Who do we know who can forge things?
I could try it.
Can I have a forgery check?
I think I'm proficient in it. Let me just double check. I'm proficient with forgery check.
Don't you need to know what the papers look like first?
That's what I mean.
Do you remember
You've
what?
seen them.
Yeah, you've
Oh,
seen
yeah.
Shining Stars, was it? Or Setting Stars, not Shining
Pen
Stars.
and paper!
Shining Stars is death.
Though the writing on it, I'll give you this. The writing on it is very specific to the reasoning of why that you're entering into the lavenders. It's not just like this person is allowed to enter. It's
Why they're allowed to.
yeah, why they're allowed to enter.
Then we just put on there that we are exotic art dealers from Zeros.
Yes.
And to see
Here's
Virgin.
the Asthorn Fayredon as to add to his collection.
Yes. Right, I need to find me a parchment and some paper. No, a parchment and a quill. Parchment and a quill.
Need some paper and some paper.
And some ink.
You're probably gonna need a forgery kit to do it
Oh,
properly.
shit. Back to my roller.
Wherever you would like.
I mean, if anyone's gonna have it, it's probably gonna be her. Let's be real. Am I gonna have to roll like an intelligence check to see if I can remember what they look like?
No, I'll give you that. You can
Okay.
remember. It's not too difficult to remember what it.
Okay, run back to Malvoilas real quick.
You arrive back at Outrageous Oddities.
I am here again. I know you miss me so much. Listen, Malvola. I was wondering, do you sell forgery kits?
No,
Oh.
but I can put together the stuff for one.
That
we
would be
don't buy
great.
it, like, we don't sell it as a package. This is a forgery kit.
And
That
learn how
would
to
be
forge.
Stupid.
Yes, it would be. I will take one of those, please.
Okay. Hold on one moment.
Of course.
And she kind of runs around and starts picking stuff up like quills and ink, different kinds of knives to slide and
Nice.
carve, stamps with like interchangeable sigils and a collection of different things,
Nice.
parchment, ribbon, all sorts.
Nice.
She comes back to you with like a little box of things and starts to put them inside like a little satchel. And it comes to the worth of 15 gold pieces.
Oh, the
Whole
15,
thing.
that's a good for the plate. Here you go, have your 15 gold back.
It's
Is
like
there-
trade.
Is there any paper around, like clean pieces of paper?
Clean piece of paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got one while they're doing this, and can I cast Prestidigitation to create a non-magical trinket or illusionary image that can fit in the size of your hand for up to an hour, and create the same thing they're creating?
No, so the size of your hand is like it's like a A4 piece, so it won't fit on the paper, unfortunately.
Okay, never mind then. Yeah,
not with
something like
precipitation.
that.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're going for.
Yeah.
I do get what you're going for, but because it's a little bit bigger than the size of your hand.
Never mind then.
Well, thank you once
Good plan.
again for your patronage. No, you said that to me. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
We're gonna get that.
Right.
Yeah.
Let us
Thank you
find
again.
somewhere quiet to sit down and do this. Should we go back to the?
I think the quietest place is probably going to be your room,
Yes.
where people won't be looking.
Let us head back and do this. So we're gonna go back to the tavern.
Which tavern?
Our one.
Okay.
Earlyhound.
Cool. So you head all the way back to the Early Hound.
Going
and
up
you
into the room. So we're alone.
into the room, and you're on your own.
Alright. What is this letter going to say?
Let me appeal us from Zeros.
Good try.
Wait. Oh, I thought I had him come downstairs.
Because it has to be specific, right?
Yeah, so we'll have to be why we're allowed to enter, not just that we're allowed to
I
enter.
think perhaps it shouldn't even. I do not know if we should even say we are specifically going to see Asthorn. Because we want, from what I understand, Mayfly wanted as little of this link back to him as possible, and now we are officially members of his guild.
Did the
How
other
about?
letter say they were to meet the noble?
Setting stars.
Setting
That's
stars.
What do you mean exactly?
Basically, did it say he's working for, he's working for the noble?
It said that he had he could enter because he was doing private work for Frederick Rosehart. So yes, it was specific enough about who it was, but not like, oh, he's going to be going to my manor and doing this, this, and this. It was he has permission to enter on behalf of Frederick Rosehart.
Yeah, just say
What?
we have permission to enter.
But
Via him.
if we don't want to link ourselves to him, what if I was an ambassador for my brother's business and I wanted to speak to the casino owner to talk about selling stuff there? Then there's no connection to Asthorn. And it would get us in, hopefully.
Perhaps, yes.
I don't know. If we don't want to link ourselves to him, that is an idea. I am a noble myself. I feel like this is very weird for me. Usually they just let me into these places. No. Any other suggestions? Wait, we don't.
It's just the fact that we said we were outdealers by the people at the gates.
We could wait for different guards, so they haven't heard the same story.
Don't know how long that'll be.
Hopefully hourly.
What do you think would work more?
I am just worried about what Kensei said, linking ourselves to him because we are linked to Mayfly.
Yes, it's just that you don't know the casino
we don't know
owner's
the
name.
casino owner's name, that is the thing. Shit!
Well, I say we say we're meeting him, and the fact that if he gets framed for a crime, the only thing they've got is people saying that they want to sell goods to him, which is what he does regularly. It won't. If it does leave a trail, it'd be a very slim one that they wouldn't even bother looking up, considering he does this all the time.
That's also a good point. Let's just try it, and if shit hits the fan, we just leave the city. It's fine.
We'll just leave forever.
Just leave.
We'll just leave. I mean, we're getting close to that point anyway. I think the other things we're getting banned from. Okay, so I am writing that we have authorization, yes, to enter the Lavenders from. Is he a lord? Asthorn. Just a noble.
Yeah, he's just
From
noble.
Asthorn Fayredon. Do we mention the fact that we're good trading with him? Or do we not need to get that specific?
Just say we have permission to enter the Lavenders by whatever his name is, to have him look at some of our goods that we have to sell.
Since I have, since I have experience dealing with people like this, can I use that to assist her on this?
Yes. Yeah. Though she doesn't actually need to make a check.
Oh, don't I have to make a forgery
So
check?
you don't make a check. It's basically your. It's basically that they roll an investigation check against your dexterity bonus, proficiency, and 8. So it's 8 plus your proficiency, your dexterity bonus, and your proficiency. You're proficient with it.
Yes.
So
8 plus my dexterity plus my proficiency bonus.
Yeah.
So 8 plus 6.
So basically, it would be like the equivalent of a spell save DC if it was
Right.
14.
Right. So 14.
So they have to meet a 14 or beat it.
So I think I'll spend some time on it just to make sure it's super believable.
Yeah, so
Alright. That look good to you? Looks pretty good to me.
Seems okay.
Try the ink.
so by now it's about 3 in the afternoon.
Shall we try this again?
Yes.
Alright. Let's go.
Okay,
Imagine it's a different guard.
and we're going
I
to take a
hope-
break there.
I hope it's a different guy.
Okay, so
Anyway.
let us return to
Hell Adventures.
the,
Oh wait.
to the early hand where you have just finished your forged letter.
God, I hope this works.
It better work as we are sneaking in. I can't be bothered with all this. Let us try it.
Okay, so you're heading back.
Yes.
So you make your way back. The streets slightly quieter now as the afternoon begins to press on, and about 20 odd minutes of walking, you arrive at the gates to the Lavenders. Different guards this time.
Thank the
Looks like
gods.
they had to change shifts.
Back
Similar
straight.
thing. Spears out, preventing you from entry.
Greetings.
We have a
Afternoon.
letter, don't worry. And then
Thank you. Gives it a read over. Who are you here to see?
Asthorn Fayredon?
His insignia is not on here.
There must be some mistake.
There is no mistake.
Would I have known that there was an insignia on Setting Star's letter?
There wasn't.
So why does he need one? I wasn't under the impression that I needed one.
Well, it would be under the impression of anyone that would give you that letter.
well, we've been in before to see another noble, and we didn't need an insignia for his, and we weren't told we needed an insignia for this one.
Don't know what I can tell you. Them's the orders.
Well, I'll be having words with whoever wrote this one for me. Thank you.
Sorry for any inconvenience, but you must understand.
Thank you. In an alley. Okay, so this guy is paranoid, clearly. He said, paranoid fuck. If we need to have an insignia to prove that we need to see him.
Yes,
More paranoid than Frederick, who had people trying to kill him.
would he know that we are coming?
Possibly.
I think perhaps the brothel idea might be a good one to follow up on.
Maybe.
He may, if nothing else, even if he's not there, he may have let slip to a girl or two that hidden any dark secrets he may have had.
Wait, was the brothel inside the Lavenders though?
We don't know.
The casino is. There's brothels all over the city.
Okay.
Anyway. but they're not there isn't just like brothel here. They're like they're hidden behind businesses.
Well, I guess a good way to find out is go to the shadiest places we know in the city.
You think he would go into the shadiest places though?
No, I'm saying the people in the shadiest places would know about the brothels.
That's true. Mayfly would also know where the brothels are.
I was thinking exactly the same thing.
Let's go back to Mayfly then. Unless anybody wants to do any other ideas.
I think Mayfly is a good point to follow up on for underworld activity.
Let's go then.
Yeah.
Okay, so you head back to the Velvet Gardens,
Yes.
make your way down to the to Mayfly's palace, and he is in his room. By now, it's pressing on to late afternoon. It's about 4 or 5 in the afternoon. Yeah, it's about 4:30 now.
He doesn't have a door.
I know. I just gotta do it every
For
time.
my benefit.
I could be the arsehole who goes knock knock.
You have to say it.
Knock knock. Guess who it is?
Your favorite band of mercenaries.
And
Hello
Your favorite
again.
band of mercenaries.
hello. So, have you completed your first job then?
Oh well, that is why we are here.
No.
Right.
We need some information that we have been having a hard time trying to get.
We're having a hard time getting into the Lavenders.
That is unfortunate.
We have information that he frequents brothels. Do you have any intel where a brothel for high-end people might go to?
Or sneak off to.
Well, I mean, I would not be surprised if he had prostitutes come to his house.
This is true. Don't know much about that.
I keep tabs on organizations around the city, but places pop up, they die down quickly. It's difficult to be aware at all times about what
Would you?
establishments of the flesh exist, but none that are as elegant as mine, and he has never come here. Otherwise, I would have told you. Obviously.
Do you know of his insignia?
His insignia.
Asthorn Fayredon. What it looks like?
I can ask.
We need his insignia to get
We need
in.
his insignia.
He's asking for it on his letters to enter. He's very paranoid.
His insignia or a different kind of insignia? Do you mean his coat of arms, his family crest?
They just said insignia of his.
Right.
Which was strange because a friend of ours was working for Frederick and he didn't need an insignia, which is making us believe he's very paranoid, this guy.
But it wouldn't surprise me if he's paranoid. He's working with a underground organization.
Yes.
I will ask around. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Don't suppose, unless you know any secret entrances into the light brew house.
Not that I know of. I know that it is a place in the Lavenders that I have frequented a few times. I could just write you a entrance in there. Does it need to be a do you need his insignia to get in there?
We just
need to get in.
I just need to get in, yes.
I can write you something.
Please.
That would have been so much easier.
Please. Please.
I can see that you're all feeling a little stressed.
Yeah.
We've had a morning.
Yes.
Whilst you're here, I'd like to know if you have come up with any kind of way to potentially frame him.
Witchcraft.
Witchcraft?
That is an option.
Magic.
But also, he is working for an underground organisation.
You don't think that won't lead back to you?
That's
a good
After
point. That
a
is a good
stunt
point.
in a certain little tavern a couple of days ago.
That wasn't us.
Right.
But the witchcraft one is very, very good. Or I was thinking about the rats, but the witchcraft one is a bit more sound, I think.
Witchcraft, plagues.
We have
ideas.
ideas.
Well, I will throw one out to you. I was in a conversation with someone with a little political power, and he may or may not have at one point had Asthorn followed. It would seem he has a gambling addiction.
Ooh.
I don't know if that means anything to you, but I found that out this morning. I was going to contact you, but my people told me that you were not in the early hand almost all day, so
Yes, we had.
We got other messages to see too.
Yes.
fair enough.
Alright.
Oh, Rusty, I see you're alive and well.
Still
It's
here.
just dawned on me that you're here. I heard that you had a little rough and tumble.
I always survive.
I like a survivor.
Do you two want the room alone? Or?
No, I'm very picky about my partners.
I've been so rusty.
Insignia. Your friends, I don't know if they told you about a little agreement that we had about a certain party joining a certain guild. But I have an insignia for you.
Thank you.
I've got like 2 spares.
Connecting them.
Yeah.
Headhunters.
Well, I will write something up then. If you care to wait downstairs, I will make sure I get it done. It shouldn't take me more than 20 minutes.
Of course.
Be very helpful. Yes.
We're not
Keep
sure.
us away from the bar.
Yes.
I was just about to say have a drink on the house, but
Maybe
I,
not yet.
I will be sick.
I'll
yes,
take
you
one.
were very, very inebriated last night.
Yeah, this
It
man
was
was-
very amusing.
We were
that funny
celebrating.
dance you were doing.
What
It
what
was-
funny dance?
Well, I'm not going to show.
Let's not.
Nice try.
It's a dance for me.
You don't have the persuasion skills to be
I roll
see?
for it.
It would require a natural 20 to be able to convince me to dance.
That's cocked.
Oh, 19!
That's cocked.
No.
Oh, I was almost in the
Stop rolling dice.
You gotta
It's on his
try
desk,
it.
where's on his desk, roll the dice.
Even the fact, despite the fact that you're underground, you can hear like the rumbling of thunder. Maybe there's like some lightning striking the top of the building, trying to get further and further down underground.
If it's a 20, that's gonna be hilarious.
Is it 20?
If it is, that'd be
Oh my
fucking hilarious.
Yes, no drinking, no drinking.
Okay.
We need to be in our correct wits.
Oh well.
He pulls out like a little box from underneath his desk, opens it up, takes a quill out, some ink, swirls it around and some paper, and begins to write. I will bring it down to you when it is complete, but I need a little focus on this.
Okay.
Of course. I just go down, sit on an empty table, and just like. Okay. It was a trip.
It was pointless, really. But at least I have a forgery kit now. Would I have known that you wanted to... I would have been too drunk to know that you wanted to ask me something last session.
You're asking me? How drunk were you?
I was pretty hammered. I was pretty hammered. I
You
can't
guys
remember
are
what I
used to
rolled.
getting drunk? Is it with tolerance? Like.
I feel like this could be a good time to talk. Back to the backs.
I don't...
The what?
I said back to the backs.
Oh, I'm guessing you're referring to something Rusty said.
Yes, it's been playing on my mind. Who will wash my back?
I will rush your back if you're
Why
so concerned about that.
Why don't you turn into a fly and then you can do it yourself? You know they did that thing.
I need to look into the eyes of a fly. Then I can do it.
There were no flies in Zeros?
No. Yes, there was, of course, but I hadn't looked into one of their eyes. I'm usually just eating them.
I'm curious. If you looked into my eyes, could you turn into me?
It doesn't work like that.
Good. But I don't have to worry about you ever turning into me.
Well, unless you're not a
You'll
human.
see.
Everyone nervously
No.
sweats.
Yes, it has been playing on my mind as well. What you said about watching each other's backs, or watching our own backs.
Washing, what?
Same thing.
Watching your own back.
Oh.
I don't know who you guys really are.
Well, we've got some time.
We can answer questions if you're so inclined to ask.
And they've got the bar. I don't
No.
know. We can drink again.
Let's say a little
Let's
bit
wait until
sober
our
for
mission is
now.
complete.
What would you like to know?
First of all, what information did they tell you that caused you to distrust us? Or have second thoughts about us in general?
Well,
Did they mention something to do with why Frisk wants the snakes? Because we were disturbed by that as well.
they didn't mention Thrisk. They mentioned you three. That they don't know how to kill you. That you
That's good.
are not who you say you are.
I could have told you that.
Yes, we could have told you. I'm pretty sure that's pretty obvious.
But you.
And that you have connections that we should be wary of.
I mean, we found that out last night when
Yes.
she opened up. She's knows people back in Ravenwood.
Yes, this isn't my first run-in with the Thieves Guild. I was part of the Baylor's Guild back in my hometown. And I also mentioned, because I was curious about who is after us, that my family was also under attack by assassins, and they are still after us. So yes, I've had my fair share of shady dealings. It's just how my life's panned out, I guess.
No.
But it would seem that the assassins that are after my family are different to the ones that are after us. We've established that.
I'm confused. What is this connection between Camilla and the Rosen sisters? So they.
You
Maybe
think they're
they're
working
types.
for her?
Yeah, maybe they're working. Maybe she sent out the.
Maybe,
No, 'cause
maybe it's her.
It's literally it'll be right after the.
The hound
Warehouse.
himself.
Unless they're quick, they're not going to be that quick.
That's true. We've just been. They could have been watching us even since I encountered Fenrix. Kayak was with us then as well.
Yes, they need to know Gaik as well.
Kayak was there.
This is so.
Maybe Fenrix did it.
Could be.
We let him live.
And he runs a big criminal organization now.
Yes, yes he does. Because we all rolled really low to insight.
This is really stretching it. But this Asthorn guy, right? He likes exotic stuff, mainly antiques, statuettes. We're all from exotic places. You don't think he could be the one who wants us, do you?
Wants to put us in a little dungeon. Is that what you're saying?
Then why would they capture him and put him in the meat locker instead of just bringing him to the
They
noble?
can't drag a dragonborn in broad daylight. I don't know. It was just a thought.
Did they say anything specific about these yours?
Just that maybe you're all not what you seem.
Well, if you have any questions. Just
I'm an open tome.
You can't open a tome.
I'm an open tome, yes.
You can't. What tomes do you have in
You never sliced open a tome.
Wait,
That's me.
sliced? What do you...
What is Zeros like?
We do our writing sometimes underneath and in between tomes, yes. And we construct them together like this.
What do you use to keep it together?
Snails.
Like the slime
Yes.
from snails?
I only
Very. The Zeros even. Snails. They can stick
I have a morbid curiosity about
a
Zeros.
big reptile.
I don't know if I ever
Tree
want to go
with
there
just
ever.
a couple licks.
Really? Links?
Licks, yes.
Oh, alright. And is it one of those things where it's very like strong when it hardens?
Mm.
Yes.
Yes, you don't want to put it on your eyes. You made that mistake.
Ouch.
So you're basically just making stone books.
Yes. We don't like using paper. Prefer stone.
Alright.
Should I just cease asking questions about Zeros now?
I think we need to see it for ourselves.
Every time I ask a question, I just
I don't know if I
get
want to.
more questions.
At this point, you see Mayfly walking through the centre of the room towards your table. Well, friends, here you go. And he hands you a letter with a wax sealed, and the symbol is of the guild symbol.
Cool. And this will get us through into the lavenders.
Oh, it will.
Should we try tomorrow? Because I feel like we've exhausted all our options with the guards.
Yes, the guards are probably not going to let us in again. Thank you very much.
No.
What should we do in the meantime? Look for the brothel.
Yes. We could try it. It's the only other lead we have.
The gambling lead. If he is addicted to gambling, is there some way that perhaps we can...
The place in the lavenders.
But if he's addicted to gambling once we get there, is there some way that we could perhaps swindle him out of his riches or something?
Who was the guy that told you this? Are you able to tell us him? Or
The
lead us
name of
to him?
the contact?
Or is it too private for us to know?
It is a little private. It would put him in a bad situation.
Fair enough. Does he have a green cloak by any chance?
Yes, how do you
For a split second.
I would not mind some of your lovely resources being poured into looking for this guy because I want to know who he is.
Oh,
Green
The
cloak.
green cloaked man.
I'm starting.
sounds mysterious.
I did not tell you about this.
No, not at all.
Well, one evening while we were at the Early Hound, I noticed someone staring at us. I know that we stick out, but most people they stare and then they go back to their business. This guy was very much intent on clocking us.
What did he look like?
He had a green cloak on, that's all I know. But the barkeep told me that he was a handsome man with
You
dark
woman.
features.
No, it must have been me there then.
Paying for his drinks, which
With
usually
platinum.
costs-
He was
Yes.
he had platinum on.
Interest.
Was he human?
Huh?
Did he say he was human?
Yes.
Ah,
Hmm.
I think.
I will talk to a few people and see if I can get anything up for you, but obviously in the current situation it's not a priority. But
I
will
know,
ask.
I
If
know.
anyone sees anything, I'll make sure they speak about it.
Thank you very much.
No
So-
problem.
Do you know anything about the Dagger's Cave?
The Dagger's Cove.
Cove.
I
yes.
just go?
Yes.
It's well, it used to be a hamlet on the outside of the city to the west, I believe. But it got raided a few years back, and ever since it's really been used by riffraff thugs sticking it out there. But
How far is it on foot?
On foot, you could probably get there in a day. It's not
Not
that
far.
far out.
We could do that after we.
You'd have to go off the road to get there in a day. If you followed it around, you'd be heading down the river on road. It would take you probably 2 days on road, maybe 3.
Well, we've been off road pretty much the whole time, so.
I wouldn't mind a break from the city.
Yes.
Let's get our
Somebody to speak to.
jobs done first before we
But I
decide.
do think we should still look into this.
Mm.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Glad to be of service.
Of course. Let us go.
Put it on the tab.
That's some strong stuff, I assume. Yes.
It's just
He
water.
goes back to the bar, picks up a bottle and heads back up to his room.
It's just water.
Okay.
Water's too strong.
Now that we have an
Spicy.
actual answer, shall we leave this for now and maybe look into something else?
Yeah. This is an alcohol. What?
Unless, Rusty, there is something you'd like to know about us.
For another time.
Okay. If you're sure.
You are a mysterious man, Rusty.
Aren't we all?
Let's go.
Okay, where are you heading to?
That is the question. Where are we?
Or what would you like to do?
Well, we're above a brothel basically, aren't we? At this time.
Underneath the brothel.
Yes, that's it.
You want to pay a visit to the brothel?
We can ask around if there's any people.
Any other brothel?
Yes, people
Any
will go
of the
to
girls?
any other brothels.
Any of the girls who know about.
Any of the girls who know about Asthorn.
Yes, yes.
You think you can turn on the charm?
Me? I can dance.
This I have seen.
Why would you even make that a possibility?
It's fine. Come on. Head upstairs.
Okay, so you make your way back up through the royal room and down into the main brothel space.
We should have asked
Lots
if we
of
have it.
prostitutes of both genders
Yeah,
throughout the room, just chilling around, sometimes with customers. All
wasn't
very,
Sorry.
above the board
Mm.
right now. It's not private rooms, it's an open space with rag
Yeah.
velvet.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Hey,
Wasn't there someone who
Can
ran the
say.
place? Marisha?
Frisky and Kensei.
Lady of the Moon.
Yes, Marisha.
Alistair, perhaps.
I'm gonna grab her if I see her.
Well,
I'm just sitting.
hello.
I'm just sitting in the corner.
Ah! No, that's what I have to say.
We're just here for making inquest.
But if you want to make an inquest, you have to cough up a bit of coin first.
Oh, not that kind of inquest. I have my staff. I'm
No object play.
no. I mean, I'm spoken for.
So are most of the people that come in here.
Really? Well, I guess we don't have Zeros. We don't have monogamy either. But snakes,
If you want
snails.
other people involved, that will be triple.
Triple what?
Triple the cost.
I'm
Triple the
just-
coin. Oh,
Let's just don't get wrong. Like,
I just looking for information. You get around much?
She just kind of like looks around, but they're in a brothel. Do you get around?
You're like, I hear you're like ladies of night. You are like the moon. You're connected with the moon.
The night, the day, the evening, anytime.
The day as well.
She's got a set thing she
they're
has to
having
say.
two different conversations at once.
Harish, you ever heard of Harish?
No, but I've slept with a lot of men with strange names.
You've slept with Harish? Mine.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't really take names.
Why didn't Vilyak tell me that you slept with Harish?
You're You're on your own, mate.
Yeah, we
You're on your
walked
own.
off.
Oh
I don't know.
no! I'm done with this conversation. I just wanted to know when there's more brothels.
So you don't want to shag then?
No. What is shag?
She just turns and walks off.
First encounter
Oh. Fruitless, absolutely fruitless. These women.
Oh, my cheeks.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
What is the information?
That was the best encounter ever. Oh, that's my favourite so far.
What kind of establishment is this?
I'm flagging down Marisha.
I mean, is that a good thing or a bad thing if they
Mate,
slept with a
so-
guard in your eyes?
Mate.
Second time in this campaign, I'm crying.
Oh, mate, my cheeks. Oh.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Yes, what can I do?
Hello. I was just wondering if your employees, do they mainly work here, or do you ever send any to like do private work at
On occasion,
people's
it's
homes?
rare, but yes, some people do.
Have you ever sent any of them to Asthorn Fayredon's house?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head, but I can check.
Please, that would be nice. Thank you.
One moment.
Of course.
She kind of walks off.
While this is going on, Alice is just really uncomfortable in the corner. All this, just like.
She comes back a few minutes later, and yes, we had one lady by the name of Rose who kind of like a house call. Is
Yes. Yes.
it? Yes, she visited his house in the Lavenders, and when she came back, she said that she wouldn't ever do the job again. She wouldn't really speak about it. Then, a few days later, she was dead.
Oh.
Oh, I'm not.
Shit. I'm very sorry.
Well, these things happen. It's comes with the job sometimes, unfortunately.
Oh.
She mentioned anything? Oh.
Did she say anything before she died about the experience? Anything at all? About Asthorn himself?
He got very angry when he caught her trying to get into his office.
Sorry, bear with me. And she'd only ever seen him once, yes?
She was there the one time. She wasn't the same after she visited, so
Like she'd seen a ghost.
we obviously
kind of noticing?
refused to send any more girls there. Sorry?
Like she'd seen a ghost, kind of thing.
I'm not sure if that's how I describe it. More extremely paranoid.
Like she saw something she wasn't supposed to.
Yes, that's what we gathered.
Interesting. Well, you don't happen to know of any other brothels in the city that we could maybe ask there and see if they have any information?
Not offhand, no.
Okay,
They're often kept quite quiet.
of course, for obvious reason. Are any of the your other employees here, were they close with Rose? Did she speak to them?
She was quiet one, I think that's why he took a liking to her.
Because he thought she wouldn't speak. Okay. Well, thank you for the information.
So I can be more help.
No,
If
that's
there's anything else I can do,
it's telling us a lot, actually. Thank you.
or if you wish to relieve yourself.
Probably, but maybe not right now. Am I going off?
Yeah, she wanders off and continues where she's going.
Bear with me while I write my notes.
What's this one then? What's
Mating,
this dance?
mating dance.
A mating dance. Oh god.
Where?
Alice is just gonna. Is feeling really uncomfortable in this situation, so he's just gonna walk out the brothel and just be like,
You heard of the snake shake? Now we
It's,
have the serpentine shuffle.
It is starting to get dark. It's like that moment just before twilight.
Sorry. Frantic note writing. Okay. So I spoke to Marisha, and she said that one of her employees was sent to Asthorn's house. She came back and she was not the same, and a few days later she was dead.
Oh,
So she obviously saw something there that she wasn't supposed to see.
we need to see it as well.
I think we need to get into the lavenders.
But I don't want to die. Not yet.
He won't die.
Good.
his last words.
It's late in the evening now, yeah?
It's about it's probably about 5:30 now.
Okay.
After those conversations.
We could go back and see if new guards are there, and third time lucky.
Yes.
I think we just need to get in there. Need to
Turn
see
into a
what's going
spider.
on.
Climb into his ear and lay some eggs.
Oh, that is cruel. You always have
Won't
nightmares
die.
about that.
You'll have fun.
Don't ever do that to me, ever. I will kill you.
I'm going to sleep with stuff in my ears from now on.
Make sure you put the herbs in your ears. Keep the spiders out.
I'm really sorry you have to share a room with your Rusty.
I'll lend you some herbs, don't worry.
Okay, so what would you like to do now?
Shall we head back to the lavenders and hope that there's new guards?
Yes, but if not, we can all just try tomorrow.
Let's see if there's new guards.
Okay. There are not new guards as you
Same
arrive
ones.
there. Yeah, they are the same guards. It's their shift has not been long enough. You only saw them a mere few hours ago.
Shall we try our
Maybe
luck,
2
or
hours
do you
ago.
think we should leave it for today?
I say best be safe and leave it.
It could be suspicious.
Yes, we come back a third time, and that's if any of them recognise us. And we can, if we get caught tomorrow, you can basically just say we finally got our paperwork in order and was able to get in. If we come back a third time with a different reasoning to come in, that's very
This is
suspicious.
true. Then may I suggest, in the time that we're not doing this, I know it is urgent, but as Mayfly said that the cove is not far, maybe we could do Melvola's job and get
He
that
said it
done?
would take a day.
Yeah, that's the whole days.
We have a bit of a time constraint.
I say we frame the noble for whatever he is doing. While that's all going down and being fixed, we sort out Dagger's Cove. That's going to be a day or and a half
We
job.
should get horses. We need horses.
By the time, pardon me, by the time we get back, maybe
Camilla's
Camilla has come out of hiding.
Need more information on Camilla.
Maybe that's something we could work on in the time being.
It's also possible, since he is an associate of the underdogs, he might acquire some information on Camilla when we interact with Asthorn.
What with Asthorn? Yes.
Maybe not with him directly, but
Oh, we are going to have some fun at his place. Trust me, there's so much we can do.
You mentioned something about an office.
Yes, she tried to get into his office and apparently he got very mad.
And then she ends up dead.
And then she ended up dead.
There's obviously something in there that he does not want us to see, or anyone for that matter.
We need to get into the lavenders. But that is for tomorrow. What shall we do with the rest of today?
I suppose you had any luck finding out where any of the brothels are.
Marisha says she doesn't know because they're kept under wraps for a reason.
Understandable.
Perhaps we should simply, dare I say, we should spread out and search different areas of the city.
If If you go with Frisk, then yeah.
Why don't you want to go with me, Alistair?
Because every time I go with you, I somehow get hurt. Even when healing.
Very well.
I say the Chaos Boys go together. Because no, I'm joking. Because ruckus. No. I mean, I think that is a good idea. I just think that because we have targets on our backs, what if the same thing happens again like Rusty got captured?
Setting stars.
And we have to do that all over again.
I have faith that you guys will, that you people will find us.
We were much more prepared now if that happens. Remember when it first got ambushed? We were low on energy, spells, health.
We were not as ready.
All that metagaming stuff.
I
yes,
mean,
we are low on
it's
resources.
risky. It's risky, but we would
So it's
cover more ground.
Framing a noble.
It's risky. What do people think?
I'm all up for splitting up. We have a time and a place to meet up, and if we don't get there in time, we know something's happened. Sort that out.
So, who's going with who?
I will go with you.
I say Rusty you can pick. It's the only one. You can be with whoever you trust.
I'll go with wherever you need me.
Where do you want us to go to? Where are we going to look?
I don't know. I was just picturing spreading out across the city, asking the locals.
In that case, maybe we should try places that we haven't been yet.
Like the sewer. Let's go to the sewer again. I miss the sewer.
We've already been to the
I
sewer.
know, but I miss it.
Like the Silver Sun Playhouse. That sounds fun.
They play? What do they play?
I don't know. We could go and find out. There's also the House of Swords, the Bellinor Institute, and the Garden of the Dead.
Oh, I like the sound of the Garden of the Dead.
We haven't been to those places.
I want to go to the Garden of the Dead.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll go there.
I like the sound of the Silver Sun Playhouse.
When you going sightseeing?
Yeah.
Pretty much. I'll take the Silver Sun Playhouse if you guys want to do the House of Swords.
House? That sounds
Boring.
yeah, dreadful. I want play or dead. Not there. No.
Well, you go to the Silver
At a
Sun
place
Playhouse.
called the House
I'll
of
go to the
Swords,
House
you
of
think
Swords.
there won't be things that are dead?
What is House of Swords? I mean, a house made out of swords, or
You aren't
We don't
curious to know.
I am actually.
Well, then how about you go to the House of Swords and I will go to the Silver Sun Playhouse.
Yes.
And I'll go to the
Garden of the Dead. Purely because there are locations we have not been to yet. So there might be something that we haven't seen.
You wanna come swallow some swords?
Sure.
Alright?
I'll go with those two. God forbid.
So where are you all going?
So,
On your sightseeing tour.
Alistair is going to the Garden of the Dead.
Okay.
And since it's been too
I'm guessing,
quiet,
I'm
so I'm
guessing
going to roll perception.
via myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
16.
Okay, happens.
God damn it.
It's been too quiet.
Ken Saith Risk and Rusty are going to the House of Swords.
Okay.
And I'm going to the Silver Sun Playhouse.
And so what are you doing?
I'm going with them. To the House of Swords.
So it's
I said I would
3-1-1.
go
It's just us.
Splitting up the party.
Us is a strong word.
Hey, look, you guys are Gucci. There's 3 of you. We're fucked if we get there.
Well, if I get attacked, I know what I'm doing.
Oh, I'm cheating.
Dying.
Yeah, I'm peacing out. My soul's pushing
Peace
out.
out.
Piecing out.
Yeah.
You're in the right place for it.
Yeah, it's
Garden of
fitting.
the Dead.
Okay.
Well, I apparently can't die. Or I'm hard to kill, apparently.
Let's start with the Silver Sun Playhouse.
Okay.
Okay. So you make your way to pretty much the centre of the city, coming down this way, and just, the closer you get down there, actually it's right opposite the display yard. So you see these 3 large buildings here are like this large kind of front, as it were. I'm trying to think of an example, like the Shakespeare Globe, the Globe Theatre, obviously, that's his name. Think of it like that. There's this structure that kind of enters out into this. It's like the entrance to a theatre space. So you make your way down there, and you see at the front that there's this symbol. In basically, it's kind of like Celtic design of a 4-leaf clover, which you know to be the religious symbol for Lu, the god of art, of money, in the Church of the Eight.
Is it just LU?
Yes. And this is actually, as you kind of enter, you see that it's actually a theatre space, but it is also a place of worship to this god.
Nice.
So there are shrines for each of the gods kind of in their own smaller area, but there is a main one to Lu, and there are tapestries and writings, all sorts, on this altar-like area. There are people kind of sitting down, reading, writing in this space. Not quite a library space, but it's similar enough, but think more creative. Paintings, all sorts. It's just a place of both money and art. On the opposite side of the building, it leads into this area out here. And it's full of just stalls in this open park space that all face towards the building where a stage is placed in as part of the building. And there are numerous kind of tents around for probably the more wealthier people to have their own space. But essentially, in this cove of buildings in the centre of the city, there is this open theatre. And that is where you are now, in this fairly muddy from yesterday's storm. But it's a nice area. It feels fresh and different to the rest of the city.
Nice. Look around, see if I can see any people.
Quite a few people here. Some kind of just chilling in the actual kind of seating area. Others on the stage, kind of just seeming to do work, like actual construction work on the stage itself. And just people mulling around. There's a fair amount of people here.
Cool.
We're just doing odd jobs.
Awesome. I will just grab anyone.
Okay.
Hey, you there!
A construction worker who seems to be like fitting new wooden panels to the flooring of the stage.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello. I am new in town, and I was just wondering if there is a performance on at the moment here.
Performance?
Yes. This is a theatre.
You interested?
Yes.
Okay. The season's not lined up yet, but it should be coming out in the next couple of days.
Okay. Do you know the troupe, the company that are performing here?
Silverson Players.
Oh, it's the Silverson Players.
Yes.
Do you know where I might find them?
They rehearse during the daytime.
Wait, we're in the evening now, aren't we?
Yeah, we're all just about to finish up for the night.
Cool. Is there an owner of this establishment or anything like that around that I could speak to?
Around at the moment, not at the moment, but Emil, she's the one that runs the...
Emil.
Emil. She's the one that is in charge of the troupe and runs the theatre.
Brilliant. But you said she's not around now.
No, not at the moment. She'll be back tomorrow morning. They're deciding on the season.
Fabulous. Thank you very much for the information. I will wander off, but I want to kind of look around for kind of anything that looks like a dressing room, like an actor's dressing room, or anything that looks like where the troupe might rehearse, or
Okay. So
Space.
that's. It seems like they probably rehearse out in this area.
Yeah.
But roll me an investigation check to see if you can come across the room.
I'm not using this. Hey, okay. Investigation.
Yep.
17.
Okay. So it's not too difficult to find. You kind of pass through a couple of doors, kind of sneak your way through a little bit, and you do find separate dressing rooms. There's 4 of them. You predict that it's probably by gender,
Yes.
and for 2 separate genders for ensemble, and then another 2 for people that are playing a bit of more of a main role. Or they might even be like individual ones, and they're a little bit smaller, and they're all completely open. You can just kind of wander in and out. Flurries of costumes, particularly in the ensemble one. It kind of looks like they also use it as a storeroom for just props, set pieces, and all sorts. It's a bit of a clusterfuck in there, but it's making use of the space that they have, really.
I just wanted to look through one of the dressing rooms and see if I could see any details about whether they had ever performed for any nobles, like are they doing any clan performances for nobles in the Lavenders or anything like that.
Okay, interesting. Roll me another investigation check.
Hey, 22.
It is difficult to really tell. They do have a lot of costumes. It looks like some of them probably are a little bit more expensive than others, which indicates that they probably have some kind of sponsorship, or have had in the past.
Yeah.
So there is a chance that they have done private plays at, like, kind of like in Hamlet, where they come to and do the performance at the actual home. But you can't be certain on that. But it's a possibility, yeah.
Cool. Well, I think I'd rather speak to them when they're here. So I think I've got all I need from this place. Just have a little look around, see if anyone's clocking me, anyone looks suspicious.
Roll perception check.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were on the rule book.
Hey, 22 again.
I know the rules.
Not that you can see.
Ask for Bolton.
I will leave and make my way back to the tavern.
Okay. So, so you follow the street further down than any of you guys have this entire time, all the way down to Gravesend, following Market Street. And as you make your way down there, as you kind of pass the Lavenders, the buildings really are becoming more sparse now, and the city itself looks like it's more of a town area rather than really densely packed, all the buildings. So as you come down to this area, it seems much more like open land, and you're drawn to this.
It's not next to the church, is it?
No, it's over here.
Okay.
So as you get further down, you can see kind of like more winding dirt paths where the cobblestone isn't really used much off the main road, and you can see this moss-covered cobblestone wall that comes up to probably just above your head height. That seems to wind round this whole section of the city, and through these gates, you peer in and can see. It looks like a park. It's quite muddy again after last night's storm, but it seems to be a graveyard of some sorts, and there are gates by the path that lead in.
Are the gates just open, like you can walk in and out?
I mean, they're closed.
Right.
They don't appear to be locked.
Hood up.
Okay.
Go in.
Opens, and you are free to walk into the Garden of the Dead.
I just want to walk around and just. I want to do a perception check for the symbol with 2 scythes, and I also want to see if I can just get like a weird feeling.
Vibe check.
Vibe check,
Vibe
yeah.
check.
A vibe check.
Check that vibe. Okay, go on.
So, that's for
Give the place enough to back down.
10. So
It's clear.
am I rolling for
You
the
can see
vibe?
how scared I was.
Am I rolling for the vibe or just perception?
That's just, it'll be still perception.
Oh well, I rolled a 10.
Okay. So, you don't see the two-sided symbol anywhere. However, on the gate, as you entered, was, like, it kind of clocks to you, is the symbol of Arawan, which is the god of death within the Church of the Eight.
Yeah.
So this appears to be their graveyard.
They don't have Arwa as part of the gods, do they? Like, it's not.
So yeah, he's
one
not
of them.
he's not one of the 8 because the whole mythos about it. But in short, because he tried to betray Belenus, his brother, and kind of like Hades was sentenced to no longer be considered one of the gods, so it was no longer 9, it was 8,
Yeah.
and he was forced to rule the underworld.
Is there anyone about?
No, not with the perception check that you roll.
Can I see
Seems
if
quiet, but there is a building at the very far end. Like there is a path that kind of winds round through these graves, and there is like a mausoleum,
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking,
Yeah.
thinking
but
of
and like a
Welsh, right?
building as part of it. Not massive, looks kind of worn, moss-covered cobblestone, wailing wooden roof.
I'm gonna start heading to the mausoleum, but keeping my guard about me, mainly because I'm in the graveyard at twilight.
Oh shit.
You see a zombie dancing out of the fog, like,
I just do what I did in the sewers.
Okay. So you make your way there, and you manage to get to the building without anything jumping out at you. No undead.
No jump scares.
But you are at the front of this door now, and the symbol again is on the front of this wooden door to this building. And there's a figure stood there with like kind of like a low hood. You can see his face, quite pale skin with scruffy short brown hair, and some light freckles across his nose and cheeks. And he has a really perfumey fragrance to him. He's again got this hood up and these long draping black robes with this symbol, the same symbol on the front and on the back. And he's kind of stood there with, you know how like monks have with their arms crossed, it's just like a black draping thing.
How can I help you, Jack?
May I help you?
Yes, I'm just having a look around. Am I able to have a look in here?
You may.
Very
He
well.
turns and kind of guides you in. Please come in.
I'm using Channels of Divinity to sense undead immediately after that. Fucking hell.
Are you actually?
Are you?
No, I'm not gonna do that.
it's like a billion lights go up, and like,
just everyone just goes.
yes. Did you want to say something, Alistair?
How do you know my name?
So he basically leads you into this larger room where there are paintings of different nobles, different kings around the room. There is
my family
a... It very well might be. We'll see in a second. There is a an iron door, just kind of curving door, which has written above it crypt, and more of these shrines. Which, interestingly enough, is usually in places where worship is to one specific god. Their shrine is larger than the others, whereas his is still kind of isolated and small, despite this being kind of his domain. he still doesn't get like worship. It's not a place of worship to him. May I help you? Is there a reason that you've come to our garden today?
I was just, yes, I was just looking around. I'm not from around here, and it always interested me to see people that, what's the god of death's name again?
Arawan.
It's always to see people that worship Arawan, even though he's not considered one of the gods anymore.
Well, we don't really worship him, we just prepare the dying for death. Have you met a member of the clergy of the Mound before?
No, I don't.
Probably not. You may
No,
even
no.
have heard of them. They're basically they are a group of people that worship Arawan, who, in short, prepare people for death. They go to their homes and do the rites and then do the funeral procession.
No, I've heard of them. May have seen them in passing on the streets back where I am from, but haven't spoken to them. Are you one of them? Looking at this. Did you see a young woman called Rose?
Yes, we tended to a woman with that name a few months ago. Stands out that case.
Yes, I'm sort of looking into that case because it stands out to me as well. Is there any information, like the way that she died, or where her body was found, or anything in particular that stands out to you?
She was beaten rather profusely. It was a difficult job to prepare her for death.
So her face was destroyed.
Everything was battered and bruised. Lacerations.
And nothing like this has ever happened before? Not a hallmarks of any other?
It happens often.
To this extent?
Sometimes.
Did you know where her body was found? Or anything of the sort, or do you just...
I was told it was found in the sticks. It was brought to us.
Thank you. And I look at... Have we gone through the iron door?
No, not yet.
What's down there, the crypts?
That is the crypt for those that prefer family burials and can afford the rites.
So noble families, then?
Yes.
Like... his name? Asthorn?
I'm not aware who that is.
If he's... Yeah, I'm going to do an insight check on
Yeah,
that.
roll an insight.
That's not one of his thirst name, though,
I don't know who that is.
That's a dirty 20.
No one else is there. I'm just gonna let you know
Yeah.
without whispers. So he seems like he's being very honest, though he is very difficult to read. He's got a bit of a poker face. But as far as you can tell, he's being honest about it.
I don't suppose I'm able to have a look down.
No,
No?
it would be Improper.
So I'm guessing only families of those who are buried down there can go in? Or only people that worship your...
Yes.
Very well. Is Rose buried in this garden?
She is.
Can you point me to her grave?
I would be happy to.
And I want to just do a perception check as we're leaving, around the general building to see if there's anything of note that would stand out to Alistair.
Okay, roll me a perception check.
That's a 1.
You just close your eyes.
Yeah, I just walk out, closing my eyes.
That's fog now.
No, nothing that stands out to you as you make your way out.
At least it didn't matter.
He leads you out through the garden and directs you to a grave. It simply says Rose on it. We never were told her actual name, a bit of a Jane Doe.
So you don't know any family members of
No.
hers?
We just brought her body and we performed the rites. And she was buried. There's no one to collect her. That happens more often than you would think.
I'm sure it does. Just people don't like to speak about it, innit?
No.
May I ask for your name, if you don't mind?
Nathaniel?
Nathaniel.
Yes. Head cleric here.
What, do you mean like in the city or just the garden?
In the garden. Now he probably runs the
Yeah.
place.
I don't suppose you could point me in any direction of which way of anyone that might know her or whom she might be speaking to, any friends that came to see her grave or people that visited her grave.
She's not had... No, there was one man. About a week ago, he asked for the woman that was beaten in the stink. Of course, there was numerous. But he did ask by name. And he wanted to know if the rites had been performed and whether or not she'd been murdered. And we obviously told him what we had encountered, and he looked at her grave and then shortly left.
Can you describe this man? Whether he looked like he was from a certain part of the city, like the Stinks or the Lavenders?
No, he was fairly well dressed. Red coat.
Sigil or a symbol on his...
No, it was just concealed. He was concealed under a brown...
Green cloak.
Oh,
can't think of the word.
robe.
No. Made of a harder material.
Oh.
Something to protect him from the rain, I suppose. But he had a red cloak underneath. Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, thank you. That's very helpful.
Might I ask who you're from? You're not seen that sigil before?
What was he pointing to?
Your two sides on your shield.
It's family friend sigil. He was my tutor.
I see.
I'm off to become a head cleric of my own. dead accidents.
Exciting.
Some might say yes.
Might I ask what god? Which of the 8?
Morrigan, yes.
I didn't sleep last night.
The warrior princess.
I didn't go to sleep last night.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hard training. Dangerous
I
life.
imagine. I suppose that Eleanor is probably the best place you could go for your training for that. Well, I must tend to some rights.
Yes, of course. Don't. Thank you for your information. It's very helpful.
Glad to be of service. What was your name?
Alistair de Axton Alexander Arnold I. Alistair.
Pleasant to meet you, Alistair. Feel free to stop by any time. Any cleric is welcome here. Off the 8. And he kind of just turns, puts his hands back in little.
I walk out. Oh wait, I go to Rose's grave. Anything's left, any
Roll up perception.
marks on it?
Roll investigation check.
Oh, investigation. I haven't been so good. Is that 9 or 6? I'll never forget. Where
Is it by the tail or the butt?
is that? The bottom there. But
Then it's a 6.
then that's not good. Investigation. I think that's a +3, so 9.
Okay. Not that you can see it. It looks like a starting to wear grave. Yeah, it's not got anything marked on it, anything that you would see that would be weird or odd out of the blue.
Right, yeah, I leave. And I head back to the early hound.
Okay. So, the 3 of you make your way to the House of Swords, which is back towards the Sphinx, passing the sickly Earl, and making your way in through to Irontown. As you get closer, though the evening has set in, most of the factory workers have already left, and the factories for the most part have been closed down. They're for the evening anyway. They're massive buildings, just pipes coming out, almost like steampunk-esque, and it's just everything feels like it's covered in a layer of soot and dirt, and it just really smells of oil and coal and smoke and sweat. Making your way through the soot-covered streets, you arrive at a small-looking shop, kind of wedged between 2 factories. Doesn't look much bigger than a small house, and written kind of in what looks like scrawled handwriting, and on a splintered wooden sign hanging from a little metal prong coming out near the door is the House of Swords. What would you like to do?
What? Yeah. Misleading. It's not even made out of swords.
I had a feeling that was going to be a complaint.
Where's that? Do we know anything about this place or no? Okay.
No, not that none of you have asked anything about it, I don't think.
You're there,
nor
boy.
have you been told.
Do you spice?
Yeah, dude, facts. You're that boy.
There is no boy.
Who are you talking to?
You're that person and or other.
He's seeing things.
He's I don't know what he's
I'm
seeing.
sorry, it's the smoke. It's getting into my.
I don't like this place. It's so dry. So much soot.
It is really dry. Yeah, it's dry here.
Let's go inside.
Are there any people around? Like,
There are people that are like having just left the factories, but other than that, it feels quite quiet
yeah, I just grab one of
and
those
dark.
guys.
All right.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah,
Yo,
it is a boy.
oh, that boy. Okay.
What?
Spit it out, man!
Sorry, all you people are so small here. Is there any chance?
Fuck you!
It's Kensei starting the fight this time.
Hey!
You've got
Serves you right!
away with words, haven't you?
I'm sorry.
Mate, when
the eyes are killing me.
Frisk is disappointed in you,
Wait,
you
wait.
know you fucked up.
Just who's got the most charisma out of you three?
Oh shit.
Yeah, you.
We're both in the minus, mate.
We're in minuses.
Shit, alright.
Wait, what have you got?
12.
Oh, so plus ones.
Still better than us.
Oh well, yeah.
Let's go into this House of Swords. Maybe it's bigger or better on the inside.
What are we looking
You
for?
there, other but no.
Swords.
We're looking for swords.
We won't be going anywhere else while looking for swords.
I love Frisk.
Okay.
It's worth exploring for information, regardless.
Let's go in.
Okay, so you open the door. It's kind of tough to open. Like it's like it is like rusty on the hinges. And you open it up and walk in, and the interior is fairly neat. Real contrast to the outside. And in this kind of smallish space, you see a number of things. What takes your interest the most are the basically like practice dummies lined up against the wall, racks of wooden and basic swords, along another pieces of like practice armor, etc. A trapdoor and a kind of like a desk, but it's not like a shop desk, if that makes sense. It's like a small kind of, not even kind of like the thing that I have, a small coffee table essentially, but it looks like it has compartments in it.
Did you say the man was wearing a red coat, basically?
Red cloak, yeah, underneath it.
Yeah.
It's like a burlesque or something like that. Something like that. I can't remember. There's a term for that.
Burlesque.
Burlesque. Yeah.
Oh, this little place looks like a shop. Is it shop?
Burlap.
Where is anyone in here? Hello?
And from the trap door, a head peers up. It's kind of a youngish looking man with kind of short brown hair. And he kind of opens it up, kind of looks up, takes a second to look at you, and you can see his eyes widen for a second.
Oh.
And then does the rest of the trapdoor and climbs up, closes it. So, how can I help you today? Yes?
I am disappointed. Your
Really?
advertisement says House of Swords. I see no house, no made out of swords.
I will take that into consideration.
You best.
Okay. Is there a reason that you've come here today seeking training, perhaps?
Training.
Yes, in sword play.
We don't play with swords. Swords are weapons.
Right. But that is the term that we use.
Oh, okay.
It is not. You know what? No, it's not a metaphor. But we'll get to that bit. No, we've simply been going through the neighbourhood, simply trying to ascertain certain things about the city. We're still fairly new here. Only been here for a couple of days. So, what is this place specifically?
This is my House of Swords, and here I train people in how to use a sword to fight. I am a veteran of the army and I train people. I'm a private tutor. Though, as you might tell, business has been a bit slow.
Seems an odd placement to have a training studio right next to an industrial.
We don't really train here. I go to other places to teach. This is more of a place to work out of, and the rent is cheap.
You say that you've done some work. You've been training like specific individuals.
Yes.
Have you ever done any work in the lavenders?
Yes, on occasion.
No, it's mostly, from what I understand, nobles live there.
Yes. Or lords, or others connected to the royalty.
Let's see. Any famous lords that we should know about that you've trained?
Until he left back home, I was training Percival Rosehard. Though I'm interested why you would want me to divulge information on the people that I've been training.
No reason.
That is absolutely not true. There's always a reason.
Well, if we were to consider your training, we would like to know if there's anyone notable that you have trained. To see whether
Fair
any
point.
good.
A fair point.
That, yes.
Yes,
I just don't
Yeah.
need training.
but yes.
I need training.
Yes.
I am
well, I can
feeling
see
this
that.
comedic duo
Yes.
over here.
I'm offended.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Well, I can certainly give a list of references. He gives you a list of references of people that mean nothing to you
Okay.
as
Oh,
of right
yes,
now.
I know who this is, yes.
There's no names that stand out.
No, and
Ashton on there.
Asthorn is
That's
not
what
on
it's
there.
like.
Okay.
Let's see. Is it usually is it only nobles that can afford your services?
Not always. If you can pay the coin, you can train. But it usually is. It's a very particular skill set and intense training. And I am very skilled.
You're very. We once met a very, very skilled man with a sword on the road. Wonder how he'd fare against him.
Really?
Yes.
Samuel.
Samuel, yes.
Roll an insight check, all three of you.
Oh, fuck.
Those.
Fuck me, why did I do it like that?
Oh dear. It's
18.
13.
Oh.
Oh.
Rusty.
There was something about the army that made me really think.
Whispers.
Whispers brought
Whisper,
to you
whisper.
by...
You can talk over.
Whispers
Bye.
brought to you by a critical role.
No.
We haven't stolen this concept at all.
Whisper.
Stole the concept of whispering.
We send
No,
in
just D&D in general.
whispers.
Everyone knows critical role just invented D&D.
Brought to you by the Wand of Whispers, which
Oh, I want
eventually
that.
you will purchase.
I will purchase that.
Do you know what I keep?
Oh, okay.
No. Ben's getting on the juicy.
This is character.
Mate, his character's juicy.
He's juicy carrot.
Yes, he was a. He was a very, very skilled swordsman.
Well, there are lots of skilled swordsmen out there, and that's why I teach to defend against them.
Is it a particular style you teach?
Yes, in part. I know a few different styles of combat, but I would usually start with teaching the basics that would be in any kind of style, and then would branch off into one of three.
What are the three?
Independent. I can't really describe them without showing you.
swords about?
Yeah.
Is it like is it big enough? Like how big is this place?
Like the size of this living room.
Is it tall?
Yeah, I'd say about. It's basically this. You're basically in this room,
Do a little.
which is I don't know how long, like 15 by 15
Well, I'm sorry
maybe.
realising that,
Let's
we
just
might
go with
have
that.
got
15
the-
by 15 foot. It's
Yeah.
a
might have
small
got the
like.
place to investigate that has no needs. That's sort of hitting me.
Yes. So
Can I have a little hack? I like to hack. You dummy. You're a wooden
sure.
man.
Go ahead.
Take your stuff away from him. Take your stuff away from him. Take your stuff away from
I
him.
just scimitars. It's curved swords. You like curved swords. You good with curved
Not
swords?
really my preference.
Why?
I prefer to lunge and strike deep rather than.
Slash.
There is a tactic to that, but I prefer the weight of a short sword.
Fair. Anyway,
It's gonna go
Right, roll an attack.
right for the head of one of the dummies.
You're gonna miss.
Oh, very nice. Do I wait? I had my scimitar out, yeah.
Congratulations, you
Yeah.
killed a dog.
So it is
Roll initiative.
21.
You carve through the head of the dummy, just
What's that technical
massive
character?
slash through, and like it cuts through like the sack that holds the hay in there, and just a few pieces of hay splinter out.
oh, my bad.
No, that was good.
Ooh,
You can hit.
I can. My time in the pits.
Fair enough.
And the swamps. You had to wriggle your way out of Frogham's grass.
I have
don't know.
not,
Squeeze you.
but I have certainly seen some interesting things and fought my fair share of.
Fair share of what? Oh, tell me, we can swap tales of things.
Roll a persuasion check.
Jesus Christ.
It's -1, but it's a 17.
Oh.
17.
Tale to tale. I have a tale, you see.
Have you ever heard of a beholder?
Beholder.
A strange creature with many eyes.
I have never encountered one. You killed one?
Yes, and he pulls up makes a small drawing. It looks like this.
Oh,
There.
It's very detailed.
You're in the wrong business, my friend.
Anyone who is a swordsmith should first learn art.
Ooh.
That's deep.
That is
Precision.
inside check. Natural 20.
What are you inciting?
Is that what was in the
Just
cave?
that whole story.
You know,
He fucking killed a beholder.
So this dude is next.
This guy is better.
So he will kill
Before you
either
try
one
to
of
roll initiative and steal this.
He's just like.
us. Wait, is this Samuel?
So where did you find this beholder?
That is a tale and a half. One I wish not to divulge into right now.
Oh,
You are still strangers in my section.
are you involved in any other business than training?
Not anymore.
There are some other things about this city that I would be interested to learn, but if I may, I would be interested in learning more about mainland swordplay. If it is okay with you, would you wish to spar?
Oof.
I thought you'd never ask.
Okay.
Pulls out 2 magical swords of fire.
Yeah.
But
Doesn't-
first, let us go downstairs into the training pit.
bit.
the kill bill siren.
Just you wouldn't have to fight if that's what you're worried about.
I don't. Okay, I come down.
Rusty, you're coming as well?
Definitely.
Okay. So he opens the trapdoor again and heads down.
Falls through it.
Are you guys following through?
Yes.
Okay.
What was
So
Arias? What was your thing again?
he
Something else.
leads you down into this much bigger open space. There are like chairs around and stools set up around the edge, and there's like a loose rope that kind of goes around and makes this square space that's about 20 foot by 20 foot, and it's just like sand and hay, all kinds of stuff to kind of walk around in this space. It cuts it off from the rest of the room. Around the outside are kind of like just ornaments and various different miscellaneous items.
I just realised, sorry, we keep doing this every time we meet a new NPC. We don't even ask their fucking name. So I say on the way, as we're getting prepared, I imagine he was getting prepared for the fight, and like I ask him where the training swords are. Well, training swords.
He goes over and picks up a wooden sword and passes it to you.
I typically use 2. Do I have to do dexterity to catch it?
Can you catch
Okay.
any sword?
Is it a saving throw or?
Saving. I'll give you a saving throw.
Cool.
Before we've gone down,
Mhm.
can I have a quick glance at his desk to see if there's anything?
Sure. Roll a perception check.
19.
19. Yeah. You
That's
he kind of smiles.
Nice.
He
It's a big
gives
number.
himself another one.
Oh, still good though.
Not bad.
21.
It looks like he has a number of different books under there. It seems like one is probably some kind of ledger. Yeah, and kind of money in there, in like kind of behind. It's like I can only describe it as like metal bars that kind of cut off a segment of the actual desk. So you could smash the desk and take the money out, but it would be very obvious.
I take out my real swords and I hand them over to you.
Cool.
Well, before we fight, I realised I haven't even asked your name.
Jaron.
Jared.
Yes.
And I just get into like fighting stance, like, let's go, Jared.
He kind of spins the sword around in his hand.
Did you do it as combat? No, how did it work?
Okay.
We'll find out.
Roll initiative.
This is cool.
Okay.
I've never seen a spot. Yeah.
Are we gonna?
Never done one-on-one with that before.
Have you
Are
ever
we
done
gonna
a
film
spot?
this or
Nope.
is it just gonna be?
Is it just non-lethal damage?
I imagine so. We're not going to be trying to kill each other with training swords.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's
You
not
get
lethal.
swinged
unless
through
he's
the
just
neck.
that badass
It's
that he just.
yeah, it's
He
long.
beat you to death
non-lethal.
He somehow lobs your head.
Ooh, that's really good. Yeah. 17.
17. Okay. You go first.
Oh.
Hey. Oh, I should write this guy's name down before I forget.
Before you go.
Just before you
Right.
start, I'm going to have to
Sorry, it's
nip
gonna-
off because I have to get to Westfield before it closes. But
Okay.
as I say, Ari just went back to the inn. She'll just chill there. So
Okay.
I don't want to like interrupt
Yeah.
this.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'd rather just
Okay then.
let you do these.
Sorry, roll, but not far. So
Do you want me to stay then?
No, I don't mind. I don't. If you need to get off, I don't want
Just
to.
it closes at 6, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Sunday, isn't
Yes,
it?
Sunday, of course.
Just
That's alright.
Yeah, I'm just going to go and whack him.
Okay.
Run up and move. Okay. That's a 16 to hit.
16 to hit. Miss.
Oh shit.
You miss it, 16 misses.
Yep.
Oh, shit.
Bonus attack hit.
Oh no. Ain't no good was.
That'll be a dirty 20.
Oh, that's got it.
So 20.
Yep.
That does hit.
What was it saying?
Hey. First one's a feint, and like next one just like that through to his shoulder.
Right, you meant to miss, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
roll damage.
Oh, damage?
Still going to roll damage,
Ooh.
but it is
To
non-lethal.
see who wins the spar.
That'd be cool.
Okay.
I bet he's got a lot.
9 points of damage.
I bet he's got. You wouldn't be able to take it.
Smile, always good.
Wait, you do more damage with wooden swords than you did with your...
Oh
The
shit, yeah,
irony.
we're using wooden swords.
Yeah,
Gosh,
it's
the
still
irony.
like as if it was normal.
Oh, okay.
So what did you get?
9 points of damage.
9 points of damage, okay. Is that your turn?
Yeah, I can't really do anything
Okay,
else.
so yeah, you kind of feign the next one as it slams into his shoulder and knocks himself back. Good. I like that.
Oh.
Can you handle this?
Shit, he's gonna kick my ass.
Yeah, you in for it now, boy.
Okay.
That's a lot of dice.
It's like,
That's a lot of dice.
it's like Sam and his brother, I bet.
Do you think they're related? I bet they are. Can I just squeeze past?
Wait, has he rolled a lot of dice?
Oh, that sounds like a lot of dice. That's a lot of dice, face.
25 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Oh shit! Knock him dead, bro.
14 points of damage.
Okay.
When I see
As he
videos-
brings the sword round, just kind of like slaps the flat end of it against your temple and just whirl with pain for a second. As he kind of pivots backwards and comes in to strike at your legs.
Oh, dear.
A 19 to hit.
Yep, that hits.
Okay.
So it's 14 points of damage on the first one?
Sorry, 14 damage. Yeah.
14 damage.
And 8 bludgeoning again as he pivots around, slams the sword into your leg.
22 points of damage.
2 attacks.
Oh. Wait, 22?
That's 8.
14 plus 8. Oh, wait.
14, 15, 16, 17.
Oh, no, yeah, you are right.
Yeah.
Oh, my math sucks.
Look at that.
Okay, so this-
Yep. 11 to hit.
Never attack this.
Okay, yeah, so that one he comes around again, but this time wise to it, like you parry, and the blade just deflects off off behind. Kind of whirls it round to get back into a position.
I'm down to half my hit points from that one hit. Okay.
You're looking tired, friend.
You'll just stop.
I don't know what you're talking about. Damn it, why couldn't he have, like, brothers and sister luck? Damn it.
He didn't have good luck.
Oh, God.
He didn't roll that high.
You roll like a 2, and he was like, oh, plus $1 billion.
What do you think got it to an 11?
Oh, God.
Plus 10 to attack.
No, that's 9.
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot of variety here. Oh, yeah, let's get rid of that.
He's not gonna like get injured from this, is he?
Like, he's not going to die.
Oh my god, I haven't even put in all the damage.
There's more damage.
I won't add it on because
I mean, you can add it on if you want, if you realised. Oh.
you'd have taken another 9. But I'm not going to
Sure.
about it, it's fine.
Okay. In that case, shit. I am gonna go ahead.
Got any more D6s?
Jesus Christ.
This isn't gonna hurt him, is it?
No, that's sparring, right?
It's sparring.
Is it
Yeah.
like when they finish, he'll be straight back up to normal health? Is that right?
He will still be on 1
Mm.
because he'll have just been beating the shit out.
We'll have to heal
He's
him.
still going to be in a lot of pain.
Oh, I see. So he is taking damage
Yeah.
He is taking damage.
from
he
wooden
is
swords.
Yeah,
but
Still hitting me
but
really
hitting
hard.
them,
It's going to
that
be
is
non-lethal.
painful.
Oh,
Yeah, he's not going to die. He's not
Right.
going to kill him.
Say a snake came in and bit him.
But
You
yeah,
don't
it's
throw him
his
up.
choice to forfeit if he wants to.
Never. I'm gonna.
Just crit everything.
Fuck.
Never!
Never! I'm gonna go ahead and do an action surge. Why not? Fuck it.
Yeah.
He's getting his ass beaten.
Going for 3 attacks. Okay, so it's plus 6 on that. 18 to hit.
Just it.
Hey. I'll just roll the attacks first and then do the damage.
Nope.
Natural one.
Roll again.
Oh no.
For
For super one. Nope. Okay.
Imagine if he got like a Ultimate 20 on it.
Okay.
Super 20.
Yes! Victory! Okay, yep. That's
Oh,
a
okay,
22.
So 2 hit.
Yeah. So damage for the first one. 7 points.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck. And 5 points on the next one. Yeah. Bye bye.
If you can survive that.
So, like, you manage to, you whiff one of them, but 2 swift strikes catch him off guard and like hit him at different points of his torso. Like, ugh! Ooh. Phew. That one hurts.
I should hope so.
It's just like.
Hey, wait till you. My turn.
It's not the first time Ken has actually gone down in this campaign.
15 to hit.
No, that misses.
No, that won't hit either.
Oh.
Hey.
That would have been 13, I think. Okay, that one probably does. That's a 21.
Yeah, yeah.
He's smiling, that's never
Yeah.
good.
Oh no.
Those would be
How
crits.
many rolls was that? Like a handful?
20 damage.
Are you down? That must have taken you down.
That is exactly the hit points I had left.
For
He,
one
like-
hit!
He
misses.
he brings a sword, he swings once, deflect off, swings again, duck under, he leaps up with the air, throws the sword up, grabs it and smacks you on the head with the pummel as it comes down, and straight into the ground. He is unconscious.
Wow. Okay.
He throws the sword onto the ground, picks up Kensei, kind of just like drags him over to a table and to a stool and rests up against the wall and just puts him up there.
Jaren, remind me to never even look at you the wrong way.
What was it you used to do before you became a trainer?
I was a soldier.
You were a soldier.
That makes sense.
How many hits did you take? 3?
Yeah, about 3.
Yes, a soldier.
Let me do some magic.
Just goes up to Kensei.
So there's some wheat in here, isn't there? Or hay?
Don't know.
You said there was a bit of hay.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't think you got him down an 1/8 of his hit points.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this guy definitely killed a beholder.
This guy is some end game boss shit. Like,
He is. Mid game.
Mid-game?
Mid game, yeah.
So like
Mid-game?
level 10 to 12 or something like that, I'm guessing. Maybe 13.
hey, my anime training arc starts now, okay? This
Yeah.
is where it begins.
Right, yeah, I'm going to come over and heal you. So I'm going to pick up some wheat off the floor and throw it onto your body. Put my hands over, and the wheat starts shimmering and it starts tightening around your body, and you see little things. Almost like they have little hands and they keep tapping you. It's like a massage, and it's putting in lots of nice Wheaties into you, healing you up.
Wheaties?
Weetabix. He just wakes up with a Weetabix. What?
I might do
with
this.
this.
5, 4, 6. Sensei's had his Weetabix.
Jared definitely did.
Apparently. That's
So
a secret.
you're using magic.
Cure wounds. I'm curing it. Yeah, I just didn't think about it, but I'm doing it anyway.
Okay.
I'm unconscious, I
I
can't tell him not to do it. I can't say shit.
He watches you use magic. Doesn't seem phased by it.
Yeah, he's a
Makes
soldier.
sense.
Seems like
He
he's
must have
probably
seen
expecting it.
I hate finding this dice. Oh, here we go. We found it.
What's this, your healing dice?
Yeah. You get 8.
For a D8?
So
Oh,
you're
dear.
rolling the d20.
That is not right on yet, is it?
Yeah, that is it. I thought you were rolling a different dice.
8 hit points.
Do you want more?
Plus, is that plus your
It'll be enough to get me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's only cure wounds. Yeah, it's not. I've only got 3 wisdom.
Yeah.
I could do you one more just in case.
That's a check. I'm unconscious. I can't say that one.
And that's 9. So yeah.
Just my
He
pride.
goes over and
17
like
points.
pours a mug of water to bring over to you as you wake up. And as you wake up, he's like,
What is touching? Just rip the fucking wheat off. Like, what the hell is this?
I was healing you with traditional methods. Hey, they put hard work into healing you. Be more thankful.
Holy shit, that fight.
17.
Here.
Holy shit. No, thank you. I'm quite.
"Are you
alright.
sure you took quite a beating?"
You did.
Yes, I'm fine. It's just my pride.
Well, we all have to lose our pride before we can get stronger.
Evidently. No. Ow.
Quite skilled, though, I must say.
Yes, I didn't think Western swordplay was that sophisticated.
Depends where you learn it.
And where would that be? That you learned it?
Roll a persuasion check.
Zeros.
Yeah, I was gonna set us.
3.
Oh my god.
From teachers.
No way.
Really?
I like that feign trick you pulled on me.
Oh, yes.
Very, very smart. Very tactical.
Well, when you have 2 swords, sometimes you have to confuse your enemy with one of them. And oh my god, it has to reach forward. Yeah. But yeah, that's one of the techniques I was taught.
Not many people who come in here and challenge me actually manage to land a hit, so I have to congratulate you on being able to do that.
Thank you. Oh god.
So now that pleasantries are out of the way, what did you really come here for?
Knowledge.
If I may. Oh. Ow. You seem a fair sort. We are we are investigating something which happened to a resident of this, a certain house of pleasure within the city. From what I understand, she was found dead in the streets. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know that. Sorry. She was found dead a while ago. It is come to our attention this might be of our interest. In certain other matters we are related to. We are simply looking around from area to area of the city, looking for more information. And quite frankly, at the time, I didn't realise what the House of Swords was. Now I think I'll never forget.
I am less disappointed after seeing you kick his douchey.
You can't see it, but you can feel a glare coming through the mask.
Stay moist.
Well, I would be lying if I said I didn't enjoy it.
I don't know if that makes me more frightened of you or not.
Well, if I'm honest with you, I don't pay much attention to the goings on with ladies of the night in the city.
Fair enough.
But there are a lot of them in this area.
Here in
The Stinks.
Irontown? Wait, no, not Irontown.
We're in the Stinks. I think we're in the Stinks.
Yeah, we're kind of like the border of both,
Okay.
really. Like this way is like the Stinks, but it's kind of so you're on the boundary of both. Not on the boundary of both.
Could always ask them, maybe.
Is it worth asking the residents around here?
Possibly. I couldn't quite tell you, but they are very close-lipped.
I see. I feel that there's no other information I could ask you that you might not know. You seem very focused on your craft.
I am.
In that case, I'm gonna get myself to my feet and I'm like asking for my sword back. I thank you for this lesson, and I bend over and like bow to him, and I proceed to go back up the stairs.
Okay. Everyone roll a perception check.
Fuck.
I'm gonna use my inspiration.
Yeah, me too, because that was absolute shit.
15.
Fuck me, that was
No, I rolled the same.
Your inspirations are not good.
No, they never are.
No.
So it's gonna be a
Damn.
11.
11,
15.
15,
And
8. 8. 11, 15, 8. So, near the ladders that head up, are a bunch of like, where he obviously kind of stores his personal belongings when he's training. And there is a kind of like a coat rack. There is a green cloak on it.
Oh, fuck.
Oh!
And she's
It's
not even
not
here.
Oh,
You son of a bitch.
Oh no!
Not
Wait!
here.
No way have we actually gone to the place where the man is! Oh my god! I love it.
Fuck. Okay.
Oh my
Right,
fucking god.
We so we're
Motherfucker.
going, yeah?
We go.
We're going. Okay. Have we left? Have we left the shop?
We're
You
going to
can do, you can, yeah, you're back out on the
Rushing
the old streets.
Thank you very much for your time.
It's good to meet you.
And for the pointless entertainment.
I don't know, I think it was very educational.
No, I just mean there was no points on the swords.
He's very blunt.
Hey.
Metaphors are non-existent to these people.
Okay.
There was two there. There was two there.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.
So,
I like Rossi just like, bye bye.
Alright. As we're walking away from the shop, I have a feeling he knows Samuel,
Samuel.
and I have a feeling we need to get out of this city as soon as possible.
Why?
Really?
Because if we have a bounty on our heads, and I clocked that he potentially knows him, I don't think we have much time left in this city.
We have protection. We could be fine, but you're right. We have.
If that's the case, we need to be disguised a lot more often.
We do work very openly.
I think this.
Did we all notice the cloak?
Just now.
Just him. You've not mentioned it, have you?
I haven't mentioned the
No.
cloak, but I know that,
Mm. You know of the cloak, don't you? He's like, yeah.
yeah, and that he's probably linked to some sort of, if he's been watching us, linked to some
Yeah,
sort of
this-
bounty.
I love all these threads. They make me happy.
What a great cloak! What if he's the house?
I think we need to get back and warn the others.
I think that's probably a good idea.
So we come here for one thing and we get another. It's very it's something Harish would do.
Good.
Harish told me that even in the
Yes.
city.
Yes.
What? I didn't finish.
Okay. No, that's a good point. I'll write that down.
Are you listening to me?
Yes, let's go.
Are you allowed the secret? Are you allowed to do it?
Oh.
So I guess we're just going back to the end.
I feel like I'm being bold.
No, tell me. Go.
I was going to say, Harish told me that even in the city, that I have a goal here. It may not be full of natural wonders or beautiful trees and
Like Russian's
snakes.
got headphones in.
There's no beautiful snakes, unfortunately, but even here,
My happy
I
place.
have a job to my Harish.
That was lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, I meant that.
Oh my goodness.
I just love your two characters.
Okay. So,
Must
as
just put something
all
in.
of you individually make your own way, except for the group of you that are together, as you all make your way back to the Early Hound from your individual places that you went to and investigated, you arrive back at the Early Hound during the evening. People are drinking, having a good time. It's fairly busy as it usually is during the evening at the Early Hound, and you all spy each other, having arrived at probably a few different times. And as you all gather to talk about what you've learned, we're going to end the session there
Oh, yeah.
for this week.
God.
That was a spicy ending.
Hensei going home with his tail between his legs. God
No,
damn.
that was painful, really.
I was going to offer him out as a wild shape.
Sorry, what happens in the training room stays in the training room.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for watching this week's episode of Dirty 20. Tune in next Sunday for episode something.
15.
Yeah, but it's not. Oh yeah, it will be. Never
It's
mind.
gonna be
Fuck
so
it.
dirty you can wipe your ass with it.
Oh,
Wait,
yeah.
what?
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.